Booyakasha! My mic sounds nice. Saturday of the United States Open. We are live. We are so live. We're going to do an interesting show today. We're going to do... Booyakasha! Oh, man. I got the... My mic sounds... Okay. I can see how long the delay is now. I still have the YouTube open on my other tab. We're going to do an interesting little hybrid today. So what we're going to do is we are going to do a watch-along for the last hour. Sam Burns has birdied 13 to get to a one-shot lead over J.J. Spaun. Adam Scott's making a move, 2 under for the day, trying to get that second major championship, which would feel like a real cap on his career. And J.J. Spaun putting for birdie right now on 14 for the co-lead with the lab putter, with the left-hand low. This looks like it's going to miss on the low side, and it does. Rainy day at Oakmont. Looks like the rain is gone. It is sunny. The conditions have been softer than we were seeing, especially yesterday toward the afternoon, but that's just because they got an inch of rain overnight. We got Ben Griffin on 15. He's been hanging around, hitting it really nice, not getting a ton out of his round. This is his third shot into the 15th, playing in the second to last group, and still hanging tough, 5 shots back, still a long way to go. Remember, it's only Saturday. This is the first time we've ever done a watch-along with all of you on Saturday. So hopefully, and Ben Griffin misses the par putt. That's what I talked about, where I said not getting a ton out of the round. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But first time we're doing this on a Saturday. It's a major championship. We got Sam Burns putting for par on 14 to keep his lead. Wow, that was an interesting view. We had the worm cam. Now we have the eagle cam. That was full on from right above. Did you guys see that? I never seen that before. Where's my worm cam hat? You know what? I don't want the worm cam hat anymore because now I'm the eagle cam. It's that meme of the guy, he's got his girlfriend next to him, but he's looking to the side. Yeah, forget the worm cam. How about that eagle cam from directly above? You could see that go in the right side, and Sam Burns makes the par putt to stay at 4 under, a couple U.S. Open pars in a row. Now, Sam Burns has gotten handsed a few times today. What do I mean by handsed? Great question. Gil Hanse, might have heard of him, especially if you've been watching U.S. Opens. Feels like every U.S. Open is on a course that he redoes. We had a Gil Hanse restoration course host a U.S. Open at LACC. We had it at the Country Club. We had it at Wingfoot. Now we have it at Oakmont. And one of the things he did with Oakmont is in restoring the bunkers are a lot flatter. If you think about, sort of a normal bunker sometimes might kind of angle to the middle, so the balls kind of all collect in the middle. These don't. They go all the way up to the edge, and then there's a really steep lip on a lot of them, which forces a layup. Sam Burns had to do that 4 times, and he's still 1 under par and leading the golf tournament. So been an amazing display of just grit and of making U.S. Open pars, ugly U.S. Open pars. That's what it takes to win this golf tournament. Guys, it's a wide open leaderboard still. I mean, we talked yesterday about, who would emerge on any of the sort of the blue chippers, the big names. Again, none of the top, you would say, 10 favorites are on the leaderboard that I'm looking at right now. So really, really intriguing stuff going on. Joseph Bozos, USGA should be happy with how things have went today. Thought scores would be lower with the rain. Carlos Ortiz has the round of the day with -3 to be even. Zane Whitehead says, let's go Adam Scott. We've got a Zane on our team who's a big Aussie who loves Adam Scott. Yeah, it's playing long today. I think that's the difference, and the rough is a little bit wet, but a lot of guys are having trouble adjusting to the new speed of the greens because they are definitely a lot slower and a lot softer, a lot more receptive. And I think when you've just played, a couple of U.S. Open rounds on Oakmont, you're just really wary, hypersensitive to hitting putts 8 feet by. And so we've seen a lot of guys leave them short. Viktor Hovland got off to kind of an uneven start. He was a couple over, but he's in the middle of the fairway on 15 with an iron in his hand, and said he's starting to feel better about his golf swing. Balls below his feet. Balls in the air. I'm just trying to give you guys a little bit of an idea of where we are time-wise. A little bit short, a little bit right of it, but that's no bother. That's in the fringe. Should be able to putt it. Should be able to chip it back up the green. Bit of a missed opportunity with where that tee shot was. And Victor's hit a couple shots right at the flag today. He hit one that hit the flag. Tristan Lawrence been hanging around. He's been making a bunch of runs. Feels like he'll make 2 birdies in a row and then 3 bogeys in a row. And that was a big par save at the 16th to stay at +1. Anyone in that +2, +3 range, very much in the tournament. Scotty Scheffler at +4. I'm going to say that he's no longer in the tournament. Just 8 shots back. Course isn't playing as difficult as maybe it would have without the rain. Just doesn't feel like there's that much movement out there. Tee shots are in the air on 15, and Sam Burns is kept this one in the fairway. We thought it was going to be another one where Sam Burns absolutely flushes one into a bunker. He's done that 4 times today. Nope, not this time. Catches the left side of the fairway. Did Dan hear Rory's scrum today? Yes, I did. Wow, what a scrum about his relationship with the media. We're going to get into all the storylines after. So what I'm going to do is I'm doing this watch along until play finishes. And then once play finishes, we're going to turn it into a kind of a recap preview show. So strap in. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to be here for a while. There'll probably be some pauses, some quiet time on this stream, but I figured I'm here, I'm watching, so might as well watch with you all. 8 shots is nothing, says Trags. 8 shots is not nothing. I want everyone to get in the chat, get your like in, get your comment in. We're all hanging out, watching the U.S. Open together. We got JJ Spaun here on 15. Pretty generous fairway, at least as far as Oakmont is concerned, and JJ likes that one a lot. Quick tee pickup. He's been swinging it really nice, really beautifully. And you've got 2 guys here with sort of varying levels of experience. Sam Burns has 6 wins, I believe. Or maybe 5. JJ Spaun has 1, but both guys who are feeling super confident. You know, JJ talked earlier in the week about feeling like the Players Championship was a massive progression for him. Getting into a playoff with Rory McIlroy, beating a field of that size and that caliber on a course like that, it gave him a ton of confidence. Even if he did hit one in the water, did not play the playoff very well. He said, you know, you can maybe fake it in some of the other tournaments that I've been in contention in. You cannot fake it at the Players' Championship at TPC Sawgrass, and you actually also can't fake it, I'm here to tell you, at Oakmont. Didn't Scotty have a problem with his driver and not make a big deal out of it, says Spencer H. We're going to talk about all of that. We're going to talk about Rory. We're going to talk about Scotty. We're going to talk about Scotty on Rory because Scotty talked a little bit about Rory. But yes, the short answer is yes. Scotty Scheffler, same thing happened. His driver got dinged. He had to change it, and it got out there, and he doesn't seem to be nearly as upset as Rory. Rory's in a bad mood. Rory's in a bad mood right now. I don't necessarily know why. We're going to talk about all of it later in the show. But we can also talk about it now. There's no rules. I make the rules here. Me and Alex Bush make the rules here. Alex is kind of manning this. He's preparing a bunch of stuff to show you guys for after the round, a bunch of tweets, a bunch of graphics, a bunch of videos. I'm really excited for the post-round aspect of this. I'm going to get rid of these little things that play on the screen just because I don't know if they want us to have those. But it is online. There's nothing illegal about putting stuff online that's already online. Who are you guys rooting for? Curious who you guys are rooting for. I do feel like Adam Scott is going to sort of emerge. Hey, Dan, says Aussie Golfer. Hello, back to you. It does feel like Adam Scott is going to emerge as the crowd favorite as this goes on longer. Just a guy who everybody loves and admires, and I think everyone feels like deserves more than one major in his career. But again, it is the United States Open, and there are a couple Americans up there on the top of the board. Speaking of Adam Scott, what a wonderful bunker shot. What a terrific bunker shot into 15 from short right, from a deep bunker. He should be able to save par. Adam Scott's going to have a chance to win the U.S. Open tomorrow. It's great for the 40-plus crowd. I am not a member of that 40-plus crowd, but I got a lot of friends who are, and I know that they're going to be rooting for Adam Scott tomorrow. Chat's starting to go. I want you guys to get your messages in watching from Australia. How good is Scott playing? He's playing inspired. He's playing like Adam Scott's played hundreds of golf tournaments throughout his entire career. This guy's a Hall of Famer, and it would be so cool, just so cool if Adam Scott could finish his career with a Masters and a U.S. Open. Shout out to the U.S. Open for allowing free streams on their website. Is there a free stream on the website? I'm wondering if we could just get the stream up on this. No, we definitely can't. But that's where my head went. Yeah, it would just be amazing to win, you know, the two, I think, at least for me as an American, the two most important majors. I know the Open. I know people are going to freak out about the Open, but I'm an American. And Viktor Hovland gets one to go. Okay, Viktor. That was a par putt on 15, so he must have had to go sideways while I was getting set up here. That's huge. He's played really, really well since the third hole of bogey. 2 of his first 3. He's played 2 under bogey free since then. And Viktor's got some momentum. And we've got a very pleasing scoreboard. We've got 4 under, 3 under, 2 under, 1 under, even, and then 2 guys at 1 over. So if Tristan Lawrence wants to make a little bit of a mess, so we have 4 under, 3 under, 2 under, 1 under, even, 1 over, 2 over, that would not upset me. You got to make those putts. That's why I'm here, says Zach Romeo. They had some good featured groups today. Oh, you're talking about they had it earlier in the day. Yeah, they don't have the like proper broadcast. The Masters does though. The Masters, you can just watch it. Ben Griffin leaves a putt woefully short. It's not really his day. It's important for him to get this in the clubhouse at 2 over at worst, that absolute worst. You're not going to play perfect every single day of the U.S. Open, so you've got to contain your bad rounds to 1 or 2 over and not throw in a 4 over or a 5 over. Hola de parte de Ortiz. I think that means something about the Ortiz party, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, Carlos Ortiz, round of the day. Carlos Ortiz was 6 over at the turn yesterday. Played the back 9 and 3 under, and then kept it going. So you're never out of it. The feature groups have been good this week, and I have been watching Sky Sports coverage of today. I don't know if you're in the U.S. or how you're doing that. Awesome moment today, earlier with his wife. Says Colton Summers, how about the Philip Barbary story? The Philip Barbary story was great. It was another reminder of why cuts matter and why I told you guys yesterday I'm going to keep banging this drum. Limited field, no cut events. They stink. They stink. I've been giving them a chance for the last couple of years. They've been all the rage in professional golf between LIV and the PGA Tour's response. They come back with their own sort of version with signature events, and a lot of them have no cuts, and all of them have like 80 players in the field. They stink. They stink. And I get it. You know, they want it just to qualify for the tournament to mean something. You qualify for a tournament, it means something, whether there's 70 players or 150 players. I know how many professional golfers there are in the world. You don't have to be in the top 10% of the PGA Tour to convince me that like it's impressive that you made it into this tournament. I don't think it would make anything less competitive. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I'm still for the signature events. Have these big events with big money so that the top guys can choose what they want, but just let other people in them. It doesn't seem that complicated to me. The reason why I think 8 shots is nothing is because Sam is notorious for throwing up stink bombs, says Trags. Him and Scotty are staying together this week. They do that a lot. Very close friends. Sam's wife and Scotty's wife. They both have young kids. Scotty's got Bennett. Sam Burns has Bear Burns, which is an awesome name. See you at Travelers, LOL, says hi bag. I will see you at Travelers. I will be there. I'm going back there on Monday. Got back yesterday to LA for just a couple days. Burns pulled it in the bunker, by the way, on 15, and now we've got JJ Spaun hitting an absolute dart beauty, just a little bit short of the flag. That's been kind of the story today. A lot of guys hitting shots online. I think they're just having a really hard time convincing themselves to land it 2 yards short of pin high instead of, the 10 they've been doing it all week. And Ben Griffin misses the putt on 16. He's just a little bit out of sorts with the putter. He's moving a little bit quicker. Just seems to be not his day. I'm in the U.S. and Peacock has an option where you can watch it. Wow, Joseph Bosley, you can watch the Sky Sports coverage. Are they doing the super annoying thing that NBC Sports continues to do with the this a moment ago? I'm a broken record, but my goodness, do I hate when they say a moment ago. I mean, I get it. It was it's all a moment ago. We're not watching it live with our eyes. Everything was a moment ago. They just ruin it. They just absolutely ruin it. Oh, we got a little version of Tourcast here. We got Sam Burns. You can see he's in this bunker. He's got a lot of green to work with, and it looks like this is actually one of the flatter. This flat portion here, back portion, looks like one of the flatter greens on the course. So let's add our boy JJ Spaun to this and see what JJ's looking at with his putt. You can see this is where Viktor putted from. He's right there. And just going to be up and slow and going right in the beginning and then coming back left at the end. Now you guys know. Is Burns' putting sustainability concerning? For most people, yes, Jordan Hamlin. You would say, you want to bet on the guy who is hitting the ball better than the guy who's putting because ball striking tends to carry over from rounds to rounds better than putting. But Sam Burns is potentially the best putter on the planet. He's been in the top 14th or better in strokes gained the last 5 years. He's number 1 in strokes gained this year. So I just think that's what Sam Burns does. There are certain guys who you can count on to putt super well. Denny McCarthy, one of them. Jackson Coyven, the amateur. You guys are going to start to see more and more of him. An unbelievable putter. So yeah, if someone who's not normally a good putter is having a historically good putting week, you wonder, is it going to sustain? With Sam Burns, less concerned. All right, Adam Scott on the par 3 16th. Gives it a little club twirl. It's cutting very slightly. It's on a very good line, and it's a little bit short, just what we've been seeing all day. But that's a really solid shot from Adam Scott. He'll have a good look up the hill for birdie. Just what you want in a United States Open. Is Viktor going to break my heart tomorrow? Well, I suppose that depends on who your heart is set on. Tristan Lawrence, second shot on 17. This is an interesting spot. Just short right, playing a little low runner that checks and trickles out. What a beautiful shot from Tristan Lawrence. That should be a birdie. I can't quite give him that. It's about 4 or 5 feet, but that to get back to even par and join Carlos Ortiz. We got Viktor now on the tee on 16. Got a very nice visual. What a group. If I was at Oakmont still, I'd be watching Adam Scott and Viktor Hovland on the weekend at the United States Open. 5-iron from Viktor Hovland. This one's a little bit right of Adam Scott's, but finds the center of the putting surface. No issues there. Man, Adams throws darts. Yeah, Colton Summers. Adam Scott does throw darts. He's throwing dart after dart right now. Playing really, really well. Walking with his chest out. You'll never catch Adam Scott walking with his chest down. You'll never see him slump his shoulders. I think it's one of the things that adds to his sort of mystique. Oh, Brooks Koepka. First we've seen him in a little while. Opened up with a 68. He's been sort of bleeding strokes since. He's at 4 over. Leaves his birdie putt on 18 well short. Brooks not going to win this week. I'm willing to say that, but as I've said all week, I am very much afraid of Brooks Koepka in the majors. I very much believe that he is going to win one, and probably sooner rather than later. Sup, y'all? Dan, you rock, bro, says Chase S. You rock too. Give us a like and a subscribe. Share the video. Tell everyone to come hang out. We got Sam Burns in the bunker on 15. As I showed you guys, decently flat once it's on the green. This is a 523-yard par 4. He's playing a little bit of a low runner. Lands in a perfect spot, and it's trickling. Fantastic shot from Sam Burns. That'll be about 3 feet, and with how well this man putts it, you're tempted to give him that one and move it along. Who had the best fit today, says Colton Summers. That's a good question. I'm a Jason Day guy. He could wear a t-shirt and shorts, and at this point, I'd probably say it was an amazing fit. But I liked what he had going on. Tristan Lawrence does convert that birdie. He's back to even par, and this South African, who has had basically no success at all on the PGA Tour this year, like none, said earlier that he actually hasn't played as many tour events as he wants to because of visa issues. And I'm thinking, does this guy need to get a new agent? Because there have been a lot of South African golfers who have played plenty of PGA Tour events without visa issues. But anyway, I don't think he's finished in the top 50 in any of his recent tour events. Finished 4th in a tournament in Belgium, but we saw him have the lead for a hot second on Sunday of the Open last year, and he's doing it again, contending in yet another major. Hi from Argentina, Dan, says Martin Jun? Don't know. Jason Day got that 90 swag going. He does indeed. Is an over par winning score dead, says Jordan Hamlin. I think it is dead, and I knew it was dead when we got that rain yesterday. I was talking about over par, because I loved the way it was going. There were only 3 guys under par coming into today, but with all that rain overnight, I mean, they had a bunch of rain on Monday. They had a bunch of rain, I think the rainiest spring like in the recent history in Pittsburgh. So there was this layer of moisture that was already there with the golf course. Then they got a ton of rain Sunday, Monday, and then they get rain again on Friday night. It's not their fault. It's not their fault. It happens. But once I saw Neil Shipley say the lead was going to be 4 under and there were going to be 6 guys under par today, Neil Shipley's been absolutely on it all week. I think I knew that the over par winning score, the dream is dead. JJ Spaun does not get it to go on 15, so it looks like they're going to trade pars. We've got Brooks looking to clean up on 18. Going to break a little left. That misses from Brooks Koepka. So that's another drop shot. I do think he was sort of aura farming a little bit earlier this week. If you guys know that term, it might be a soccer term. I don't know. But, when he was talking about, I don't like yes men. And I sort of, Pete was laying into me for 45 minutes in the bunker. And then someone asked him, when's the last time Pete did that? His coach. And he said, Aaron Hills, kind of sort of foreshadowing that he won the tournament that week. And it was a fantastic clip after Thursday, but doesn't look like it's going to lead to one of those edits that you see on social media. Viktor Hovland from the dead center of the green on 16, putting up the slope to get to 2 under. It's going to run out of speed, but it will be a no drama par for Viktor Hovland, who will stay at 1 under. We've got Adam Scott coming up from a Dane in Denmark. I know what a Dane is, Marcus Himmelin. You've got the same name almost as the center midfielder from Sporting, Himmelin. How about Niergaard? Do you see him having a chance tomorrow? I had an interesting interaction with Rasmus Niergaard, not really with him, but more his coach and his agent on the range on Thursday. He was just about to go out, and I said, what's going to happen? He goes, well, he says he's going to go out there and try to shoot 65. So he's either going to shoot something really good or he's going to shoot 80-something, but he's hitting it better than he's ever hit it. His coach was very, very excited coming into the week. So obviously the strong play has continued, and he's going to be in the top 10 heading into Sunday of the United States Open. That visa issue is why he couldn't play last week. Dan Lawrence does need a new agent. That is nuts, yet he was able to play this week. Adam Scott, it's tracking. Oh, it just loses speed. That's going to be a tap-in. I don't understand how Tristan Lawrence's agent isn't on that. A South African golfer struggling to get a visa? Like, what are we talking about here? Are we aware of Gary Player? This guy flew 11 million miles on his airplane, a world record that will never be broken. That's what Gary Player says. Eric Van Rooyen, South African. Ernie Els, Retief Goosen. I'm just naming South Africans now. Rory Sabatini, formerly. It's not difficult to be a South African golfer and play on the PGA Tour. How are you not handling your visa situation, my friend? That is just, that's out of control. Chase S. bought new golf shoes today, went with Puma, Ignite, Elevate. They are fire. I've got a couple pair of Pumas. Actually just sent me a couple more pairs. I like them. They don't have the spikes, though, which for me, or at least the ones I have, don't have the spikes. I need, how much torque I create in my golf swing, how much I load, and how much I fire through the hitting zone. I need some spikes. Spaun looks like the Key and Peele guy. Can't get it out of my head. Someone said that he looked like Jason Day with bee stings at the Players Championship. I think that's my favorite. Nick Price was from Zimbabwe, Rhodesia, I believe. But yeah, I mean, going back to that, South Africa, it's not like he's from it's not like a golfer from Russia or China who's trying to get visas. Like, do we really have that much of an issue with South Africa that they're a professional golfer who's on the PGA Tour can't get a visa to play in a golf tournament? This is getting me fired up. It's just, what gets me fired up is incompetence. And there's something's getting dropped here with Tristan Lawrence trying to play PGA Tour events. Something's not happening. Someone who's supposed to be getting this guy visas is just not getting him visas. I'm sorry that I keep ranting on this, but do you guys agree? Like, you're a professional golfer and you're playing on the PGA Tour. Get your visa thing sorted. All right, sorry, rant over. Sam Burns, 5-iron into 16. Golden hour at Oakmont. The tracer does not have this one, but the zoom out tracer does. Looks like it's on a very good line. Actually turning left a little bit, right on line and short. We've seen that absolutely all day from everybody. Right on line, just a little bit short. 51 feet that thing is. Doesn't look that far on our TV, so that's an interesting thing to see there from, I don't know, what are they calling this machine? I don't want to call it something it's not. Shotcast. We've got Tourcast. This is Shotcast. They should call it United States Open Cast. And I understand that's way too long of a name, but this is the United States Open. And I want everyone to start respecting that. Get your comments in, guys. Like, subscribe to the video. Any questions? Would you rather look like Adam Scott or have his swing? I'd rather have his swing. All right. You guys calling me ugly? Is that what this is? I'd rather have his swing. If I had Adam Scott's swing, I'd be worth a lot more money. And I think hopefully I'm not horrifically ugly enough that my life would change more with all that money rather than a more handsome face. Fantastic question, says Chase. I think that was actually a pretty easy question. Okay, JJ Spaun, 5-iron into 16. Super high on a good line. He likes it. Short right. Both Scott and Hovland did a better job getting those shots to pin high than the final group did. Burns and Spaun, and these guys have done a great job, you must say. I mean, playing in the final group of the United States Open on the weekend, these guys teed off at 3:35 local time, I want to say. So it's just such a long day until then. I used to struggle with really late tee times. Maybe that's just me being like a bit of an early riser and sort of an ADHD guy. But I don't like waiting around that much. But they've both done it, and a lot of times we see on Saturday at the U.S. Open, guys get exposed. These two are both 1 under, I believe, on their own balls, playing fantastic. Remember, the low score of the day is 67, so there's a reason these guys are playing last. It means they're playing really good. I finally realized there's more to life than being ridiculously good looking, says Chase S. That is right, and the more to life is called being having potentially the greatest golf swing there ever was. Though I always am obligated to say this because of George. I'm a Genghis guy. Don't chase Adam Scott's posture unless you want to line the club off. Unless you want to line the ball off the heel, because that posture you're not going to be able to get to it. You're going to reach it. Just saying. Don't try to have that straight back, or at least George. That's what George says. Why do people hate on the internet on Rory so much? Is it just because he is skipping media? Says Levi Ackerman. Well, today, I mean, we're going to talk about this after the round, but it's one thing to skip media, and then when you come to media, you're fine. He's being ornery. That's the word that comes into my mind, is ornery, and that's not a word that I intended or that I thought I would use to describe Rory McIlroy after winning the Masters. So I think it's just, listen, he's entitled to skip media. He's entitled to say what he wants to say, and everyone's entitled to then form their opinions based on what they see and their personal impressions of Rory. So yeah, I just, I've never seen someone more upset with an albatross than than Patrick Reed on Thursday. We talked about this where he was like genuinely very snippy when they were asking about his albatross, and then he collaborated on the post, which I didn't understand, but he was like, it's one shot, it means nothing. I've never seen someone be upset with an albatross. I've never seen someone be so upset after achieving golf immortality. I mean, we all thought that this was going to be this massive cathartic moment for Rory, and it's had kind of a weird impact, at least so far. I mean, to be fair, did you hear some of the questions the media has been asking him? Says Andrew Tumataka Do. What are some of the ones that you feel are unfair, Andrew? I'm curious. It's been 2 weeks. He hasn't lost his edge. That is, are you talking about Rory? It's been 2 months now, and it's been 2 majors that have come and gone. Not going to lose sleep over Rory not speaking to media. I don't think we are missing out on some revolutionary comment. I agree, Saucepan. I was over it after Thursday. Everyone was posting, oh, you didn't talk, and it was like kind of a roll of the eyes. But when he stepped to the media today and then basically confirmed what we suspected, that he's like really annoyed, that's a story in and of itself. All right, Sam Burns for birdie on 16. That's going to be a tester. That is not his best effort. That's 5 feet and 11 inches short, according to ShotCast. Let's take a look at what Burns has for that second putt. Uphill and left to right, so important to not let it lose speed. Tristan Lawrence, 195 from 18. That looks like a 7-wood if I've ever seen one. Just hack it out of the rough. Carry that bunker. Hope it chases on there. That's why all these guys have gone for such high lofted woods. I heard Bones call it a nickel wood today. Never heard that one before. Spencer H says, if he would have said, yeah, that driver ran its course right after, it wouldn't be a big deal. He's a baby. The driver thing clearly really struck a note, and it just feels like, why would that bother you so much? You just won the Masters. You just completed the career Grand Slam. I don't know. All right. JJ Spaun. He's got the old school Scotty Cameron grip with the new school lab putter. It's kind of an interesting little gear setup. Ben Griffin with a bunch of trash emojis from Mindle 13. Hasn't been his day. No birdies. No birdies today. He's had a lot of opportunities. Hasn't gotten anything out of the round. Very similar putt from JJ Spaun to Sam Burns. So they're going to have a pair of 5-footers to try to save par from pretty similar spots. We're just seeing a lot of guys short. Ben Griffin, I don't know if you're ahead of me, but this is 17 for birdie. Can we break the streak, Mindle 33? Can we break the streak? Yes, we can, Mindle 33. Ben Griffin heard you, brother. He heard you say no birdies, and Ben Griffin makes a very timely birdie on 17 to get to +2, and I say he's got to get it in the house at +2, maybe +1. Can he get one more? Also, Ben Griffin, no birdies. What are you talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got 4 birdies. Were you talking about someone else with no birdies? Because I don't know who you're talking about. I think with the driver, it's def principle because his was the one that got leaked and it became a huge thing when it shouldn't have been confidential. Okay. Okay. Like I don't understand why it's that big of a deal. Wait, Alex Bush just cooked up something for you guys that I want to show you guys. Wait, look at this, guys. You guys are gonna like this. This is why it's so great to have Alex on the team now, because he can. Sam Burns misses that putt. The best putter on earth misses it, and it's going to be a tie at 3 under. But look at that. That's what Alex was, or that's what someone in the comments was saying. That JJ Spaun looks like the guy from Key and Peele. I 100% see it. I 100% see it. No, saying no more. I have him over 72.5 strokes. Sorry, Mindle. How far back is still in contention, Dan? I'm saying 2 over. I don't think anyone above 2 over is truly in the mix, and that includes Scotty. If Scotty was at 3 over, I might say that Scotty's in the mix at 3 over, but I'm not seeing anybody at 3 over. That's making me quake. I think some of the guys, one of the guys that you see to my this side is going to win the tournament. Fantastic call from on the JJ Spaun Key and Peele. JJ Spaun is putting now for his par. This is a big putt. Yep, picks one up on Burns. He stays at 3 under after 16. These guys have 2 holes to play, and they're going to be knotted at 3 under. Still only Saturday. Still, let's remind. I mean, I'm on this watch along, so it kind of feels like Sunday, but it's not. It's only Saturday. Dude looks like him. A better looking version. Who's a better looking version? Spaun or the Key and Peele guy? Viktor takes a mighty lash at 17. This one's drivable. That is well right though. Oh, and that's a little bit unlucky. If that flies another 3 or 4 yards, it goes into a bunch of trampled down rough where people have been walking all day. Looks like the crowds are getting a little bit sparser now as it gets late. But it finds a really, really thick piece. Tristan Lawrence chipping this one from 1 yard off the green. This is one of those where if an Oakmont caddy saw that you were going to chip it, he would forcefully hand you the putter. Look at that. That thing took 2 what looks like firm hops and never had a chance to get up there. Maybe there was a divot in his way or something, because I would have thought that he would have putted that one. Sam Burns with a 1-footer for bogey. I don't know why they're showing this. Makes me a little nervous, but nothing to be nervous about. He's in for par. Oakmont Merch Hall, did you get anything? I got one thing. It says Saucepan, and I'm going to show it to you. This is what I got. What do we call this? Farmer's hat? Straw hat? I was just frying in the sun, and I wanted this big hat, and I think it's pretty badass. The only thing is that the squirrel just looks a lot like the country club. Don't they have the same? Aren't they also a squirrel? Aren't they both a squirrel? I don't know. I think so. But yeah, this hat. This is the only thing I got. Oh, and that's not true. I actually got a couple of coasters. But those are not. Those are in the house, and I don't want to go in the house right now. I'm in the doghouse right now, and we're in the doghouse. We are locked in from the doghouse. Cam Smith has a nice swing, says Chase S. Yeah, I suppose he does. He missed the cut, though, this week. His game has fallen off a cliff. Not trying to excuse Rory's bad play, says Andrew, but I am saying we should try and be more understanding of the way the media has been treating him since Liv started. Has the media coverage of Rory been negative? That's the other thing, too. It's like when Bryson was doing his I'm not talking to the media, and there was a period of time where Bryson and Tristan Lawrence just comes short on 18. He's going to get in the house at +1. There was a period of time before Bryson left where he wasn't speaking to media because he felt like the media was really unfair to him and painted him in a sort of negative light. I just don't feel like that's really been the case with Rory. If he just gets up there and just smiles for a couple minutes, it'll all go away. Monty rocked the same hat in '94. I like this hat. Maybe I'll keep it on. All right, Viktor is surveying his second shot at 17, and this is, he's got a little bit of green to work with. He's not short-sighted, but he's got to get it over these deep bunkers and somehow have it land in kind of a 5-yard, like on a 5-yard blanket, and see if it'll stay on the green. Got to do a blind ranking on logos. The squirrel is goated, says Saucepan. But there's 2 squirrels. That's the only thing. There's 2 squirrels. So I feel like with a goat logo, you got to know exactly what it is. When I picked up this hat this morning, I kind of thought it was the country club hat. Do you think Viktor can finally break through and win a major? Rooting for him now that Brooks is out, says Kiwi with a bunch of letters afterwards that I don't know. Absolutely. Viktor's had been in top 10 in majors a bunch of times and said earlier this week that he's starting to finally feel comfortable with his golf swing. And I think Brad Faxon made a really interesting comment that I think is true. He said that I think when Viktor gets nervous, he hits it better. We saw that at Valspar. Felt like he had no control of his golf swing in his own words and hit some absolutely perfect shots down the stretch to chase down and eventually beat Justin Thomas. And if you look at Viktor, when he's had opportunities, he's won. He's got 7 wins. It's not like he's a guy who gets there and doesn't close the deal. When he gets there, he does super well typically. Do we think JJ stays in it tomorrow? I do. Yes. Dan, can you show us your lab putter? Yes, I can. That sounds like a sexual innuendo, but I am going to show you my lab putter. Oh, you mean this old thing? Yeah, I got the Oz. It's blue. I kind of wish it was black, but it's blue. Oh, Viktor, what a shot. What a golf shot from Viktor Hovland. Maybe I need to get my lab putter more often for this guy. Wow, caught it perfectly, lands. That's thanks to the softer greens. That stays on the green, and that's going to be, 5 or 6 feet for Viktor Hovland to get to 2 under par, to get to 1 shot back? You could actually see a little bit of the ball. They did a close up of the lie, and it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, and it came out like a dream. That was such an amazing shot for that to land as softly as it does. Uriel Ramirez just joined. Can we get some Hovland love? We're getting all the Hovland love after that shot. The aerials are just loving that, and that is 100% a product of the softer greens. And we've seen guys, a lot of them, come up short a lot this week, or a lot today, because of how much softer the greens are, but it helps a lot on the short game shots. It helps a ton on the short game shots. The blue is nice as Michael Ocean. I agree. Viktor is insane. Let's go, Javi. Feels like the chat is rooting for Viktor Hovland. I don't know if that's accurate. All right, we got Adam Scott on 16, on 17 from the bunker. Not quite as close as Viktor's. Left that one a little bit short. Hard to get that all the way there out of the bunker where it spins. With the softer greens, makes those long bunker shots a little bit more difficult. I will say with Adam Scott, I don't love the long putter. We have to be consistent. Ben Griffin has driven it into the bunker on 18, and this is what we were talking about. He got handsed. That thing is rolled right in the face, and it's basically a 3/4 of a shot penalty. You've got nothing. You've got nothing from those bunkers with those steep faces. We've seen Sam Burns have to chip out basically sideways 4 times. We just saw Ben Griffin had to do it up there on 18. My coworker joked about Ortiz winning with what's going on in the U.S. right now. I'm going to leave that one. I'm in Los Angeles, so I'm definitely going to leave that one. Not going to lie, I want to see Sam get it after RBC. Yeah, we watched him on this very watch along. We watched. I mean, even Ryan Fox said on our show that he had given it. He had basically given it to Sam. He thought he was done on that first playoff hole. Let's update our. Oh no, they haven't teed off. It is updated because they're standing on the tee watching all this play out. Burns and Spaun are on the tee watching Adam Scott get up here close with his birdie effort. The long putter, which I don't like. I'm not saying that he's anchoring it. I just don't like it. I just wish it wasn't a thing. I don't think it's in the spirit of the rule. Let's go. Scott says Aussie golfer. Big surprise that the Aussie golfer is rooting for Adam Scott. Color me absolutely shocked. Can't believe that. All right, it's a good look, though. It's about 15 feet for birdie. He's over it. He's made contact with it. It's rolling toward the cup, and it falls in right in the center. Adam Scott looks determined. He gets to 3 under par, and Adam Scott has caught Sam Burns and J.J. Spaun playing a brilliant back 9. He is 3 under par without a bogey on his back 9, and Adam Scott is going to sleep with a chance to win the U.S. Open, at least with a chance to win the U.S. Open. I want to say he's the only guy in the field who has 2 scores already that are not over par. He shot 70 his first 2 rounds. He's now 3 under for his second round. And could we be witnessing the beginning of a career-defining moment, a career-capping moment for Adam Scott? And Viktor Hovland gets to 2 under. We're seeing some fantastic golf out of these last 2 groups. All 4 guys are at par or better. Sam Burns being the worst of the bunch at even par, which is well above the average today. So we've seen an excellent standard of golf here in these last couple groups. That birdie from Adam Scott has tied the round of the day. Kenny birdie 18, says Bosa. It'll depend big time. It'll depend big time on the drive. We've seen a couple of guys who have gone into those bunkers and just been absolutely dead. Speaking of drives, we got J.J. Spaun here. We are staring right into the armpit, just right into the armpit of a volunteer. I don't know. That camera must not be able to move because they chose a different one. They were like, that guy's armpit is in the way. So we're not seeing this from behind. We're seeing J.J. Spaun hit it into the same bunker that Adam Scott hit it into. No trouble there. Clean lie. The difficulty there will be getting it all the way to pin high, but apparently you don't have to. If you're Adam Scott, you can just pour in a 15-footer. Oh man, I don't know if they're going to show this next Ben Griffin shot, but what I'm seeing from Shotcast right now is going to make our guy who has over 72.5 very, very happy. All right, Sam Burns. I guess they couldn't tell that guy with the armpit to move because they went with the reverse angle again, and that's shorter, but probably better. Yep, that's in the fairway. Plenty of green to work with. That's with the greens being soft. That's not a crazy difficult shot from Sam Burns. Scott said yesterday he's playing old man's golf. He said he's playing old man par golf. It's a little bit of a difference. All right, Adam Scott on 18 at Oakmont. Could he have his tee shot potentially with the second major championship at his fingertips? It's starting to look more and more like a possibility. Let's see what he does with this one. Takes a whack at it. That's straighter than chain smoke. Train smoke. Straighter than chain smoke? What is chain smoke, Danny? Straighter than train smoke. Anyways, it's in the fairway. Patrick McCormick, where have I seen you before? I don't know. Maybe on this watch along. Maybe when I was at Foreplay. Maybe if you've watched Netflix Full Swing. With the current leaderboard, who do you got to win it? I've chosen different guys every day. I don't know if you guys want to take my advice, but I'll say Viktor Hovland. He's one shot back. He's on the 18th tee. He has just seen Adam Scott stripe one down the center. Let's see if Viktor can answer. Nope. Looks like his worst swing of the day. That was totally out of sequence. Just a block cut. Kind of, actually not his worst swing of the day. His worst swing of the day you would think would be on the first hole where he somehow didn't hit it out of bounds, found the ball, was able to take an unplayable, made a really gutsy bogey that I think, had he made it double this day, might have gone a different way. How different do we think the scores would be if there were some trees on this course? Maybe not as many pre-renovations, but enough to have some obstacles off the tee from the rough. Maybe a shot or two higher. I mean, I don't know. I never really saw Oakmont way back in the day when it had all those trees, but I agree that trees, and I've been talking to a lot of guys this week, typically trees make it more difficult. Trees make professional golf. You miss one, you're blocked out by a tree. Can I get it over this tree? Do I have to go under it? Can I get it around it? We saw trees were a huge part of the Rory McIlroy story at Augusta National. It doesn't have to be black or white. It doesn't mean that there has to be Sahali or it's a forest on both sides of every fairway, but it also doesn't have to be the old course at St. Andrews where, it's not a tree in sight. You can have not a tree in sight, in my opinion, if you're on the ocean, like a Shinnecock or, one of these courses that's sort of a seaside links. But if you're at Oakmont and you look around, it's hills and trees absolutely everywhere. And then you get on the course and it just feels kind of naked. Dan, did you hear someone trying to honk during a player's backswing, Michael Ocean? I did not. I am watching on mute for sort of contractual reasons, trying not to get the stream taken off YouTube. So anything the broadcast says, anything that you guys hear, the sort of natural sound, I do not hear. So we're just when I type right now, I'm talking to Alex, just getting some stuff prepared we're going to do a full recap show. We're going to do a recap show and a preview show. As soon as the final putt drops, we're going to kind of switch gears, and go into a preview. We're going to bring in presser clips. We're going to bring in some funny stuff. It's going to be fantastic. As soon as this ends, we're going to switch to a preview show. We're going to play the Rory clip. We're going to discuss it. We're going to do all that stuff. Like the TWUSAM hat almost as much as your content. Thanks for everything, Dan. I appreciate you. Joke a hole, Jamie. Tell your friends about the channel. Patrick McCormick says Foreplay. That's it. There you go. There you go. We've solved the mystery of where Patrick McCormick has seen me previously. Oh, man. I kind of wish I was just drinking beers with my friends watching the golf right now. I love this day so much, but I also love this stream. I'm just jealous of you. I'm jealous of you guys a little bit. But I guess we're doing the same thing. But I'm just a little bit jealous that you guys get to just watch this and have this on and don't have to be completely locked in. You definitely got the best golf podcast on YouTube, says Uriel Ramirez. I appreciate it. Tell your friends, like and subscribe to the channel. Who you like in early for Travelers, sneak peek, LOL. I don't know if you're from Connecticut. My mind's not on the Travelers yet. We will lock in on the Travelers on Monday. But as of right now, I feel like it would be a disservice to the United States Open to do a Travelers Championship preview. We'll get there on Monday. We've already had a bit of PGA Tour news sneak through this week with the new CEO, the NFL number 2. Looks like he's going to take over, or he's expected to take over. All right, here's Sam Burns on 17. Actually played a lower one than I expected. 2 skips. These guys are good, man. Old school PGA Tour marketing slogan. These guys are good. What a shot that was from Sam Burns. Little back footer, pitched it into the hill, skip, slam on the brakes, trickle out, almost went in the damn hole. Sam Burns is going to make a birdie on 17 to get back to 4 under par. And it's going to be a little bit of a role reversal for the Burns-Scheffler cohabitation situation. Usually it's Scotty who's got the late tee time. Usually it's Scotty who's telling Sam, hey, can you and Bear just like keep it to a dull roar in the morning because I'm trying to win a major championship this afternoon. Switcheroo. It's going to be Team Burns telling Scotty, hey, I know you know, Bennett, I know you get a lot of TV time. I know, like, you know, everyone knows who you are because Scotty wins all the time. Can you guys just keep it to a dull roar? Because I'm trying to win the United States Open here. Viktor Hovland going with wedge. We're seeing that these bunkers are basically a 3/4 shot penalty. He's got Hanst again. Just with that lip and with how close they roll in, they don't stay at the bottom. You got no shot. Ben Griffin with a bogey says middle 33. There you go. I think that's big for you. I think that's big for you, isn't it? Doesn't that mean you shot 73 and you won your bet? I'm super happy for you. I always am rooting for all you guys to win your bets. I'm always rooting for everybody to win their bets. JJ Spaun from the bunker that we saw Adam Scott on 17. A very similar shot to the one that Adam Scott hit. Doesn't quite get there, but probably 14, 15 feet. Let's see if we can get a size on this one. On Mr. Spaun. 13 feet, 8 inches. So I'm dialed. Straight garbage, says middle 33. Yeah, you're right. That guy who's playing the U.S. Open, who's grinding it out, who's in the top 10 going into Sunday, he's garbage. What a garbage player. All right, Adam Scott. Now we're in final group sort of territory. We're thinking about the final pairing. A birdie would almost guarantee that he'll be in it. Adam Scott from the fairway on 18. It's a one-arm finish. We don't like seeing one-arm finish. That was not struck solidly. That is well right of his target. He's going to have an interesting mound in the middle to navigate. Hard to believe that a guy is swinging that well, and that well right now, and that well throughout his career, could be hit a short iron that far offline. But that's golf. That's the game that we're all in love with. All right, it's dwindling down. There's only a couple groups left on the golf course. There's only 2 left on the golf course. It's the final group of JJ Spaun and Sam Burns, and it is the penultimate group of Adam Scott and Viktor Hovland. And Sam Burns is exactly where you want to be, which is halfway between the 17th green and the 18th tee, already with the ball in his pocket. He's tapped in for birdie already. So the lead is officially 4 under, and we're going to see if JJ Spaun can stay with Sam Burns and join the group. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Here's Spaun. That must be a great spot to putt from. JJ Spaun gets it to go 13 feet and 8 inches. Does exactly what Adam Scott does. And the final pairing, they both have taken advantage of one of the few birdie opportunities out there at Oakmont 17, the drivable par 4. They both get it done. That was a beautiful roll. I'm torn between Scott and Hovland to win. Wouldn't be mad at either one. We're going to get an unexpected winner, you know, and not that any, you know, the top 4 guys on this leaderboard are all PGA Tour winners. You know, they're all in the top 50 of the world or have been very recently. It's not totally out, but not totally out there. Here's Viktor Hovland's third. Just a little bit long. Does it spin back? It does spin back. Oh, it's going right at it. Is it going to keep? Yeah, it's going to keep trickling short of it. We're seeing balls spin back in ways that we just have not seen. We're just so not used to seeing that at Oakmont. That does stay about 15, 18 feet short. But going back to the beginning of last year, you know, the major winners were Scotty, Xander, Bryson, Xander, Scotty, Rory. We're going to get someone that's going to break that streak. And it's a nice change of pace. I would have liked it the other way too. I love golf, but I'm going to like seeing someone get a major, pick off a major in this sort of Scotty, Bryson, Rory era. What is the furthest back that you think has a chance for tomorrow? Says Bram Janvrin. I'm saying 2 over. But even that, you know, I think the 4 guys who are under par right now, I think the winner's going to be one of those 4. I really do. I think all 4 of them have been very solid this week. I think all 4 of them are really confident. All 4 of them are accomplished players. I could see 1 or 2 of them having a bit of a mess, but I can't see all 4 of them. Dan, I think we need a new banner, Fox Watch. Is that, you want to know where Ryan Fox is? He shot 3 over today. I think that's what you're referencing. He's 8 over for the tournament. 10 straight majors I saw he posted that he made the cut in 10 straight majors. And again, the cuts matter. Cuts absolutely matter. And I'm so tired of seeing Xander Schauffele's cut streak. It's like 66 now. They put it up there next to Tigers and next to these guys from the 80s. And it's like, no. Cuts don't mean what they used to mean. It's not the same anymore. We need to bring them back. All right, 18th tee. JJ Spaun is setting up on the left side. Both these guys like to hit hard cuts. JJ Spaun has gotten under this one a little bit. That's going to miss right. Is it going to get one of those bunkers and be sort of the auto penalty that we've seen? That looks even right of those. Can't tell where that one went. If it's where they are, he might have gotten a break and some trampled down rough and might be able to get it to the green. I still can't get my eyeballs on the ball though, so I don't know. But if both these guys make par, they're likely to be in the final group, given where Adam Scott is. He's got a long way to go. All right, Burns teed this one up a little bit further right than JJ Spaun did. Also got under it a little bit. This one is cutting more than he would like. This one looks like it's headed for bunkers. In between them, and that one is, I'm going to say that one is sitting up, and there is a little bit of area where you can run it up the green here, so that's a good break for Sam Burns. We got Adam Scott, this lag on 18. Oh, that took a look. Beautiful, beautiful pace from Adam Scott. We're going to give him that. We're going to say that Adam Scott is in. We're going to say that Adam Scott has shot 67 to match Carlos Ortiz for the low round of the day, and Adam Scott is going to have a chance, a big-time chance to add that second major championship that has eluded him for the past 12 years. It's been 12 years since Adam Scott won his Masters, became the first Australian to win the Masters. That was his destiny. He said, I can't believe it's my destiny to become the first Australian to win the Masters. How big are lap putters going to continue to blow up if Adam wins? What about if JJ Spaun wins? Are we ignoring JJ Spaun's ties to the lap putter? I thought Brooks would still be in it, but am disappointed, honestly, says Uriel Ramirez. I thought so, too. I thought so after that 68. I was convinced. I was convinced that Brooks was going to be around all week, but he's just sort of bled strokes since then. All right, Viktor Hovland. He's got a putt for par here. Adam turns 45 next month. Could Adam be an unlikely major winner? It would be a very, very popular story in the locker room. Be a very popular winner in the locker room. Adam Scott's sort of an elder statesman on the PGA Tour. Everybody grew up watching Tiger Woods, but Adam Scott was part of that story. Absolutely, he's part of that era. These guys, a lot of these guys, still idolize his golf swing. Almost 50 majors ago, says PS36. Just tell us how many days it was. I love when they really want to hammer home how long something was. They go, that was 10,927 days ago. Viktor Hovland for par on 18. Not his best effort. That one was kind of short and left the whole way. So Viktor Hovland is going to tap in. He's at 1 under. Probably going to be 2 or 3 back. It's going to be 2 back at least going into tomorrow. 71, 68, 70 for Viktor Hovland. Squarely in the mix going into tomorrow, but does drop a shot on the 18th, and he got handsed. Didn't know JJ used one. Dang, double chances for them. Would be their first major, I believe, says Sir James. I believe it would also be their first major. Labs are taking over, man. I can just tell you on the club level, like from what I see, they're absolutely everywhere. It's coming for you too. If you're a lab putter person, it's coming for you. You got to know it's coming for you sooner or later. All right, I gave Adam Scott this putt, so let's hope he doesn't miss it because I would feel a little bit guilty. I would feel just a little bit guilty. He ain't missing this. He doesn't miss it. That's 67 from Adam Scott. What a great round of golf. What a position he has put himself in. What a position he's put himself in.
Just wondering.
Oh, nope, don't want that. We're going to show you that after the show. Guys, I can't wait for after the show. We've got so much stuff lined up to you guys. We got so many press conferences to show you guys. We got so many things to break down. As soon as this final group here, as soon as this final group finishes up, we are going to convert this into our preview show. But I'm enjoying the watch along with you guys. Tell your friends, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We're doing this tomorrow as well. Going to go to Minisaur, Spaun, Presser, browse, download, Spaun on pressure.
Just wondering.
Okay, we'll show that to you later. We've got that loaded in there. We've got a ton of press conferences that we're going to dissect. We're going to talk about all the storylines going into tomorrow. I want you guys to get your questions in. What a third round it's been today. So many headlines. It always is, man. This is our sixth to last major championship day of the season. I'm super happy that we are able to enjoy this with you guys. Top notch watch along as usual. It's only Saturday. And I joined on the 14th hole. This is a baby watch along. This is a little baby. This is a little bonus watch. Guys, we've been live on this channel Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're going to be live on Sunday. And we're going to be live on Monday from Dan on Golf in the studio. This is our Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is our fourth day going live in a row, and we're gonna bring it to 5. I'm really loving the community that we're building here. You guys, I love seeing the same names every week. I want you guys to tell your friends this is where we watch our golf. Super disappointed in Oberg. I think we all are. Been a strange year for Ludwig. Thought it was going to be a year where he challenged Scotty. Really thought he was going to be one of those guys, and it just hasn't happened. You know, he kind of got himself into contention at the Masters with grit and just kind of sheer know-how, but missed the cut at Quail Hollow. Missed the cut this week. A very disappointing. You would say. I don't know if last year was his rookie year or the year before, but a little bit of a sophomore slump potentially. It's definitely been the first sort of extended down period of his career. Still a short career. It's only been two years and a week since he turned professional. But yeah, I think we expected to see more out of Ludwig this year, and I think Ludwig expected to see more out of Ludwig this year. So, all right, JJ Spaun, did he get the lucky break we thought he might have with the lie? Yeah, he did. That's in some trampled rough. Both these guys got good breaks. That ball's sitting pretty clean, and he actually has a kind of a decent angle to this left pin on 18, does JJ Spaun, but he doesn't seem to have liked the strike. Looks like it's going well right. Hopefully that kicked back into the bunker for his sake. Yep, it does. JJ Spaun has missed the green on 18, short right. Bit of a missed opportunity. You got to break there after a really poor shot. You got to convert after those breaks, but that shouldn't be the most difficult bunker shot in the world. He's got plenty of green to work with. Now we'll see Burns. Jeremiah Johnson, you're making golf commentary fun again. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Ludwig needs a lab putter, a lot of lab putter talk. When is Minwoo Lee going to take the next step? I didn't like Minwoo this week. I thought he was going to miss the cut. He did miss the cut. I think we expected more out of Ludwig because he was the first #1 ranked out of PGA Tour to benefit from the pissing contest and get 1.5 seasons for free on PGA Tour. Why is that a pissing contest? And why is it for free? You don't think the college guys deserve to go to the PGA Tour? At least the seniors. I understand the argument for the PGA Tour, you accelerated stuff. But the seniors? I feel like the top seniors should go. All right, Sam Burns from 170. He did get a good break. He is able to give this a crack, and it's not a one-arm finish. He's watching at least. It's on a great line. Lands in the middle of the green, bounds toward the back, but it'll stay on the putting surface for Sam Burns. So if JJ Spaun gets up and down and Sam Burns 2 putts, it'll be the same final group going into tomorrow. It'll be these guys running it back. If he doesn't, if JJ Spaun is unable to make a par, or one of them is unable to make a par, then Adam Scott will be in the final group of the United States Open on Sunday. Ludwig did have a lead on Rory at the Masters momentarily. I can't remember. Did he actually get the lead? I remember he had a putt on 16. I think it was to take the lead, but did he get the lead? Met Adam Scott at Colonial, made me a huge fan. Adam Scott's super, super nice. Super nice guy. Every time I see him, hello, Dan, which is very nice. It's still, the guys that I didn't grow up watching who have sort of emerged since I've been doing this, it's always cool for tour players to kind of, know who you are and say hello. But for the guys that you grew up idolizing, Adam Scott, one of those guys. I remember taking swings as a kid trying to channel Adam Scott's posture. I hadn't been to George yet. George hadn't told me about the posture situation. But we've all grown up watching Adam Scott, and for him to be as sort of kind as he has been really cool to me. Rose was leading, says PS 36. Oh, he was so he was behind Rose but above Rory. Oberg will win a major, probably just one, but that's what most Hall of Fame golfers have. It always cracks me up when people are like over under major counts. It's like 0.5. Like winning a major is really, really difficult. Winning 2 majors is, you're basically a Hall of Famer. So I think, look, there's plenty of time for Ludwig. There's more than plenty of time. He's 2 years into his career. I don't think anyone has any long-term doubts, or if they do, they're misguided or unfounded. What do you guys think of the broadcast today? I haven't really been able to hear any of it, but they're showing a lot of golf shots as they always do in the U.S. Open. But I did hear this from a moment ago, which really pissed me off. Famous temporary, class is permanent. Adam Scott is class personified, says Calvin Prest. That is exactly correct. That is exactly correct. If I do, I do these rapid fire interviews with players. If I did a rapid fire with all these, if I asked every player who's the classiest player on the PGA Tour, I think you'd get a clear number one answer, and I think it would be Adam Scott. All right, moving along nicely. That's twosomes for you. We got JJ Spaun in the bunker on 18. He's toward the front of the bunker, so he's almost pin high. So this should break right to left. It's a beautiful lie. Crispy close-up of the ball there. Expectations for golfers these days is absolutely insane, says Drags. When players don't win majors, people harp on them and say they suck. It's insane, unless your name is Patrick Cantlay. Enjoy having Kisner and Smiley on the broadcast, says Bram. Yep, I think Kisner's really good. He's coming into his own. Just like the sort of southern drawl. It sounds nice. Oakmont is what we needed to see. I wish more wagers would go back to ball busters. I agree. I had a couple coworkers talking about, I'm bored by the rough. Is this your first U.S. Open? Short out of the bunker from JJ Spaun. Well short out of the bunker. That's been the issue on these short game shots is you spend all week playing for so much rollout, and then you get greens that are so much softer. So Spawn's going to have to make that, or Adam Scott is guaranteed to be in the final group of the United States Open. I don't mind Chambly, says Colton Summers. He means well. I think Brandel's terrific television. He was on our show. He's one of our best guests that we've ever had. Not surprising. Scott should be playing captain for the international team soon. That's an interesting idea. He's definitely in line to be a captain. I think it'd be very cool if he was a playing captain. He is, again, he is class personified, and form is temporary, class is permanent. All right, Sam Burns, putting for birdie on 18. Let's see if we can get a nice little preview of what the read might look like. It's going to be super downhill and super right to left. And this is one of those putts that on yesterday, would have been absolutely diabolical. It should be doable. There's a little bit of a flat area at the hole. I would expect this to aim. Oh, there it is. It's going. I'm not looking because I'm watching. He's playing so much break, playing a good 10 feet of break. The best putter on the planet. It's now taking its left turn. Is it going to stop there? It is going to stop there. That's going to leave. We talk about ass clenchers. A little, oh God, I don't want to putt this. That is the definition of a cheek clencher. That par putt that awaits Sam Burns on the 18th. It's going to be downhill. It's going to break from right to left. It is going to be quick at Oakmont in the U.S. Open. How do they decide the pairings when tied? First man in, last man out on the weekend. So because Adam Scott finished first, he will go out last. Whoever had the better score that day. Yeah, Dan, you're the best. Love your show. Love that you're on a couple times a week now, says Sergio D. Yep, we're on 3 times a week now at least. We're doing Sunday watch-alongs. We're doing Wednesday preview shows. And we're doing Monday in the studio, Dan on Golf, full studio experience. Wednesday, we do the preview show here from the Doghouse. And then Sunday, we do the watch-along here from the Doghouse. All right, let's see who makes these putts. Let's see who makes these putts. Let's see who gets into the final group for Sunday of the United States Open. I'm going to get rid of the Tourcast because there's only 2 guys on the golf course, and we're all watching the same ones. And I'm also going to get ready for when we convert this into a preview show for tomorrow. All right, JJ Spaun for par. See if he can finish with 2 significant makes in a row. That's going to run out of speed. And Adam Scott's in the final pairing. Your final pairing will be Adam Scott and Sam Burns if he is able to make this putt. If he is not able to make this putt, I think it would still be... No. Scott's guaranteed in the final pairing. If Burns makes this, it's going to be Burns and Scott. If not, it will be Spaun and Scott in the final group, and then Burns and Hovland one behind. Why is Denny McCarthy the best putter? This is my first time hearing about this guy. Look at the statistics. the statistics. I'm going to read you Sam Burns, where he has ranked in strokes gained putting the last 5 years, the last 4 years, 22nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 22nd in 2021, then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th. The numbers don't lie. All right, Sam Burns to retain a one-shot lead going into the final round of the United States Open. He gets it to go, sneaks it in the right side. That is a fantastic round of golf. 69 for Sam Burns to follow up his 65, which was the third best score ever in a U.S. Open at Oakmont. And now we have our leaderboard going into Sunday, guys. We've got Sam Burns with the solo lead by one shot. He and JJ Spaun shot matching 69s in the final group. One shot further back is Adam Scott, who shot 67, going to have a chance to chase that second major championship. I didn't know that's what Sam ranked. Sheesh. It's tough not to pick Adam tomorrow over Burns, but it feels like it's up for grabs. Grew up watching Adam. Hard to root against him. He makes it extremely hard to root against him. Okay. I'm gonna throw the starting screen on just for 1 second, and then we're gonna start this thing. We're gonna start a little preview show. Let's do it. No audio again. That just seems to be a rite of passage. We're going to start that over. Hello, Golf Sickos. Welcome to Dan on Golf. This is your third round United States Open recap / final round preview. The leaderboard is set. We have Sam Burns with a one-shot lead at 4 under. He followed up his 65 on Friday at Oakmont with a very solid round of 169. He leads by 1 at 4 under over Adam Scott, 44 years old, 67, matched the round of the day. He's one shot behind with JJ Spaun. Played in the final group and matched Sam Burns with a 69 of his own. He will play in the penultimate group with Viktor Hovland, who's at 1 under par after a bogey on 18. Carlos Ortiz kind of backdoored his way into contention. Shot 67, finished at least an hour before the leaders. He's 4 back. And then the group at 1 over, Tyrrell Hatton and Tristan Lawrence. And at 2 over, we have Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson. And we also have just Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson. At 3 over, we have Robert McIntyre +3, Cameron Young +3. We're going to get into all this. We're going to talk about Rory McIlroy, who spoke to the media today and basically told them to get off his lawn. He is not happy with the media. We're going to talk about Scottie Scheffler, who looks like he's going to be flummoxed by the U.S. Open once again. We're going to talk about Jason Day in some ridiculous interview. We're going to talk about Bryson DeChambeau. We're going to talk about it all. Let's start, though, with the leader. And I want to show you guys this clip because you will only see this Dan on Golf. Now, I've been saying that we have hired Alex Bush, who I used to work with at Barstool, and he is a phenomenal asset to the team. He also has a very rich history with 54-hole leader Sam Burns. So when I was at Barstool, I was unable to come. I don't remember what it was. There were some scheduling conflicts, but they did a video with Sam Burns, and they visited him in Louisiana at his house, and he has all of this crazy land and property and all these guns. And look at Alex Bush.
Take your finger off the trigger.
Look at Alex Bush shooting guns with the 54-hole leader of the U.S. Open. Get her done.
Just over it. Good shot.
Get her done. Let's show that one more time. Look at Sam. Look at the flow on Sam Burns. Remember he used to have that crazy almost Mola situation? There's Alex Bush shooting firearms with Sam Burns. So Burns, you know, sort of comes into this in an interesting spot in his career. So Burns played on the last 2 Team USAs. He's got 5 wins on the PGA Tour. His last win, though, was the Dell Technologies match play in March of 2023. That tournament don't even exist anymore. He won 6-5 over Cameron Young. His last victory in stroke play was over 3 years ago at the Charles Schwab Challenge. Who did he beat that day? He beat a player by the name of Scottie Scheffler. Now, those 2 guys are the best of friends, like genuinely the best of friends. And they are playing together this week, or they're staying together, I should say, at the US Open this week. They both have young families. Uh, both have known each other for a super long time, and it's a bit of a role reversal because these guys stay together a lot at majors, and usually going into Sunday, it's probably Scotty saying to Team Burns, "Hey, can you guys sort of keep it to a dull roar because I'm trying to win a major. I got a late tee time." It's a role reversal this week. It'll be Team Burns that's telling Scotty Scheffler to keep it to a dull roar because Burns is in there with a major chance to win his first major. And he comes into this week off of a bitter disappointment. So last week, we did the watch along. We know all about this. He missed a 6-footer to win the tournament at the Canadian Open. Now, granted, he shot 62 to get into the playoff. It was a remarkable final round, but have been bitterly disappointed to not win that tournament. But before this little stretch that he's been on here, he was one of those guys who has played in the last couple Team USAs that you're wondering what's going on this year. Like, is Sam Burns one of those guys you expect to be on the team? He's 28 years old. He's in the prime of his career and just wasn't really playing well at all. But something switched after the Masters. So going into the Masters, he missed 3 cuts in a row. He missed the cut at the Players, missed the cut at the Valspar, missed the cut at Valero, T46 at the Masters. And remember, the Masters is 88 players, and a lot of them are amateurs and old timers. All that to say, that was a poor finish for him at the Masters. Since then, T13 at RBC Heritage, T5 at the Byron Nelson, tied for 30th at the Truist, T19 at the PGA, T12 at the Memorial, and solo second for Sam Burns at the Canadian Open. His putting has been out of control this year. This is going all the way back to the Genesis Invitational. So this is in February, so this is probably 10 to 15 events. Per round, he's gaining, on average, 0.55 in the Genesis. This is all just putting. 1.66 Arnold Palmer, 1.45 Players, 2.41 Valspar, 1.43 Valero, 0.28 Masters, 0.92 RBC, 1.98 CJ Cup, 1.51 Truist, 1.83 PGA Championship, 1.04 Memorial, 1.10 Canadian Open. The guy is rolling his pill. Absolutely rolling his pill. And we had a couple people in the chat saying, well, isn't that sort of like unsustainable, right? Like, don't you not want to bet on the guy who's putting super well? And usually, you would say that is the case. If a guy is sort of having the best round or the best putting tournament of his life, you're thinking, oh, is this sustainable? But with Sam Burns, like, that's just kind of what he does, right? What he does is putt the absolute tits out of the golf ball. It's very similar to Denny McCarthy. So I don't expect Sam Burns to drop off at all when it comes with the putting. So I am not concerned about that. We're going to pull up here the Data Golf leaderboard. Now, the Data Golf leaderboard, the guys at Data Golf have been just so important in golf recently because the world rankings have become essentially obsolete. Not essentially obsolete, but this is who the really smart people at Data Golf, if you look over on the right side here, the win percentage, they've got Burns as the favorite at 37.3, Adam Scott at 24, JJ Spaun at 22%, Viktor Hovland at 7.7%. So everyone who's sort of asking me, how far is too far? I think it's going to be one of those 4 guys. I don't think that the course is playing in a way where Scotty Scheffler, who's tied for 11th at +4, they give him a 0.5% chance to win the tournament. It just doesn't feel like, a 66 with Scheffler would bring him to even par. Is he then going to get over par rounds out of Viktor and JJ Spaun and Adam Scott and Sam Burns? I mean, say he shoots the round of the week, which is 65, that would bring him to 1 under. I still don't know if he's going to be able to, if that's going to be enough, if that's going to pass, those other guys who are up there. It is interesting. They've got Scotty finishing in the top 10 at 51%. And they've got him in top 20 at 82%. But the Data Golf people think that Burns is going to win this golf tournament. That is where the sort of smart money is, or at least the mathematical money. I'm going to try to get to some of your chat messages here. Weather is going to be similar tomorrow, a little less rain. It's clear he's figured out something after the Masters, talking about Sam Burns there. And then we got JJ Spaun. So let's go to JJ Spaun. So JJ Spaun, been a very interesting year for him because he hasn't won, but he has definitely elevated himself in our game. JJ Spaun was journeyman is a bit of a harsh word, but I think that would be not an unfair moniker coming into this year, but it's totally flipped this year, and we saw the first signs of this early in the year, and it really continued through the Players Championship, where he got to a playoff with Rory McIlroy, and we're going to look at his results for the year so far and see. JJ Spaun entered this week at number 25 in the data golf rankings and number 25 in the official world golf rankings, which you don't see very often. But he's got a second, 2 runner-up finishes, one at the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches, and then the Players Championship, the solo second. Since then, though, I mean, he missed the cut in his last start at the Memorial. I remember that was one of those charity cuts where it's a small field and they only chop the guys outside the top 50, so he must have played awful there. Did finish tied for 6th in the Charles Schwab before that, T37 at the PGA Championship. And 50th in the Masters. But coming into this week, his best finish in a major was tied for 23rd. This is only JJ Spaun's second U.S. Open. He missed the cut in his first one at Torrey Pines in 2021. And JJ Spaun is not a super young guy. He's 34. He's going to be 35 in a couple months. But here he was talking about just how much he got from that experience at TPC Sawgrass.
Just wondering where you're at kind of with your own self-belief about contending in events like this, players, and how that maybe compares to different points of your career.
Yeah, totally. I don't know why this is happening already or happening at this point in my career, but I guess being kind of put in that spot, at the Players. I mean, I was leading going into the final round of the Sony Open. I finished second at Cognizant. Like I was been consistently like right there. And everyone knows that the more you put yourself there, the better you're gonna, have results, and the better you're gonna play. Eventually, turn one of those close calls into a win. And the Players was a really good sort of kind of spring into the self-belief, because it wasn't like I faked it. You can maybe fake it at the Sony and Cognizant or whatever, but to do that at the Players, a course where I'd never done well historically, and to go head to head with Rory on Sunday, and then the playoff was great for my confidence. Unfortunately, I didn't win, but it was great for me to kind of lean back on that experience and know that I can perform on like the biggest of stages and deal and handle with the pressure.
The biggest of stages, and that's what he contended on. And it's a reminder of just how much a few inches in our game changed the narrative, right? Let's not forget, it's not just that he got to the playoff. He had a putt on the 72nd hole that stopped 1 revolution away, 2 revolutions away from winning the tournament. So if that putt goes in, we're talking about JJ Spaun in a completely different manner than we are now. But clearly feeling himself and feeling his game in a way that he really hadn't before. So fun to watch guys kind of emerge before our eyes and start to believe that they can win major championships. And another guy that I would put in that category is Ben Griffin, who struggled a little bit today. Bogeyed the last hole to shoot 73. He's at 3 over, and I think just a little bit too far out. But JJ Spaun, tomorrow is a new level. It's one thing to contend in the Players. The U.S. Open is a different level. I know that the Players has really grown in importance and sort of its stature in the game, but it's not the United States Open. It just isn't. Another thing that I wanted to show you guys is someone in the chat was had this call about JJ Spaun looking like the guy from Key and Peele. I totally see it. Someone else said Jason Day with 2 bee stings on his cheeks. Whatever it is, JJ Spaun is playing fantastic golf. Adam Scott. So Adam Scott is tied for second after a 67. And, there's a lot of guys who finish their career. I actually think of Adam Scott really in the same category as 2 other guys who are both in their sort of late 40s. And that's Sergio Garcia and that's Justin Rose. I think if you look at their careers from a 30,000-foot view, very similar as far as their standard and their stature in the game and how much they've won around the world, and they all have 1 major. And Justin Rose has been really, really close to winning that second major. He had that heartbreaking loss in 2017 to Sergio Garcia at Augusta National. He had the heartbreaking loss last year. Remember, he was in it all the way till the end at Royal Troon, finished second there, then finished second again at the Masters, losing to Rory McIlroy in the playoff. And Justin Rose has spoken very open and honestly about how he just really wants that second major. He feels like it will put a cap on his career. Hasn't gotten it yet. Sergio Garcia, same thing. Won so much around the world. At least Sergio kind of has the Ryder Cup bit, as something to hold on to. He's the highest points earner in the history of the Ryder Cup, so that's a huge part of his legacy. But also only just that one major when he did beat Justin Rose in 2017. And Adam Scott also has just one major championship, and I feel bad saying just one because winning one major is a lot more than most guys do in their career. The vast majority of guys do in their career, but just feels like a player of Adam Scott's stature, a player of his. He just exudes class. He exudes everything that we want out of golfers, and that beautiful golf swing. He's a legend. He's just a legend of the game, and it feels like what an amazing bookend. And not saying that he's done, but what an amazing exclamation point it would be on his career if deep into his 40s, when he's maybe not as much of a factor week in, week out on the PGA Tour as he was at one time, for him to then turn back the clock for 1 week. And we've seen guys be able to do this. All-time greats can find it for a week. I mean, I think back to Phil Mickelson at Kiowa. That sort of came out of nowhere, right? That came out of nowhere. Players Championship at 21, says PS36. That's right. Adam Scott was the youngest winner of the Players, I believe, until Siwoo Kim won it younger. But we've seen guys who can turn back the clock for a week and just, even Justin Rose is a good example of this, right? What has Justin Rose done since the Masters? I'll save you the research. Basically nothing. But for that week at Augusta, these guys who have reached those levels before, they might not be as consistent as they once were, but they still have it in there. And Adam Scott said earlier this week, it probably hasn't been clear to anyone else that I'm close, but he's said that he's close. His best finish this year so far on the PGA Tour is a tie for 15th at the Century, which is one of those limited field events. He finished tied for 19th at the PGA Championship, was sort of in the mix, missed the cut at the Masters, T31 at the Memorial in his last start. So not like he was on a lot of people's radars, but we could be witnessing one of those magical weeks where an all-time great just sort of, people are saying no sound. I hear sound. I don't know what you're talking about. That was also a minute ago, so I think the sound is good. Where's Gravy Train Hat, says Joe Fiola. Alex Bush is watching and feeding me clips to get through, but yeah, I think Adam Scott would be a hugely popular winner. Really looking forward to seeing how he handles tomorrow, because these other guys, Sam Burns is in his 20s, Viktor Hovland's in his 20s, JJ Spaun is 34. These other guys, when you are 44 and you have a chance, and Adam Scott has a capital C chance, he is in the final pairing of the United States Open. I think there's an extra layer of heaviness. I really do. I think that there is an extra layer of, man, I don't know if this is going to happen again. I don't know if I'm going to have this opportunity. And maybe I'm thinking that way because I'm a story guy and a narrative guy and a talker and not a player. And maybe Adam Scott, believes that he's going to have 5 more chances like this to win a second major championship. But, the odds are that it won't happen. And the odds are that this might be the best chance that he has moving forward. So a huge opportunity for him tomorrow. And I think we're all very much looking forward to watching him. He played today with Viktor Hovland. Viktor bogeyed 2 of the first 3 holes, actually made a bit of a miraculous bogey on the first. So it felt like a birdie. He hit it so far right. I didn't even really know that there was a fence or anything to the right. It hasn't been an issue on the first hole. But he hit one so far right, it was kind of resting against the fence, and he did well to find it, did well to take a drop, dropped it on the cart path, and then wasn't able to take a drop because the drop would have taken him sort of back into the trees right of the cart path. His 2 club lengths weren't far enough on the cart path to get him to the other side, so he played it off the cart path, hit in a remarkable shot to the front of the green, and then was able to 2-putt. Made a bogey there and then made a bogey on the third. So he's 2 over after 3. And you're wondering, is this going to be the sort of 74, 75 that takes him out of the tournament? It wasn't. He played really, really well from then on in. We've seen the front 9 has played. It's kind of an interesting one. Um, Quail Hollow last major championship, for all the flack that we gave it, and I stand by it all. One really cool aspect of the course is it crescendos in a kind of amazing way. 16 is the third hardest hole on the golf course there. 17 is the second hardest hole at the golf course, and 18 is the hardest hole on the golf course. So you know that Green Mile is lurking the whole way. And we saw guys absolutely make a mess on the Green Mile. We saw John Rahm played it in a gazillion over par. We saw guys really fade. It's a little bit different at Oakmont. It's way different at Oakmont. The front nine is playing about 2 shots easier than the back nine. So, and Viktor maybe told himself something similar. Like I've taken my lumps here. This front nine's hard, but I'm hitting it really well. I'm swinging really well, and I'm just gonna sort of stay the course because I feel like I'm hitting it well enough to set myself up for a lot of birdie opportunities. He played just remarkable golf from the 4th hole through the 17th hole. He was 3 under in that stretch. Did not make a single bogey. Did make a bogey on 18, driving it in the bunkers down the right. Sam Burns did that too, a lot. I'm actually curious, Alex Bush, if you're watching, maybe Burns will have spoken about that, about his club selections off the tee, because he hit a couple of drives. I want to say 4 drives that seemed like he hit them pretty much right where he was looking. And all 4 of them went into the bunker. And one of the things that Gil Hanse does, and Neil Shipley told me about this, and Neil Shipley has been absolutely on it. By the way, Alex, Neil Shipley was totally right about his 4 under being the leading scorer, so we got to clip that. We got to get that in the show. Maybe a little supercut of all his different predictions that have been right this week. He said someone's going to shoot 4 under on Thursday and then shoot 72 on Friday. And then he said this morning that after the rain that the leading score would be 4 under. But one of the things that Neil Shipley told me was keep an eye on the bunkers this week. And I said, what do you mean? He said, well, one of the things that Gil Hanse did is he flattened out a lot of the bunkers. And so if you can think about a bunker, if it's flat, if it's not flat and it's sort of everything leads to the middle, then you'll see a lot of balls that kind of roll up the face and then roll back to the flat of the bunker, or they don't stay necessarily, like if they just creep into the bunker, they go all the way into the bottom of the bunker. And that allows guys to at least advance it. That's not the case this week. The bunkers are so flat and the lips are so steep that you're seeing a lot of balls, especially off the tee. They're rolling into the bunkers and then they're nestling up right up in the face. And basically they're functioning as like a 3/4 shot penalty because these guys have to go sideways. We saw Viktor have to do that on 18. We saw Sam Burns have to do that 4 times throughout the day. So keep an eye on that. But Viktor's going to have to find more fairways. He had made a couple of loose swings on his last 2 shots. He had a driver on 17 that went way, way right. Hit a remarkable second shot on the 17th to set up a birdie. And then he hit a way right one on 18 again. He's looking like he's getting a little bit under it. All the top 4 guys are except for Adam Scott. Adam Scott's very zeroed out. He plays really straight. He was actually telling me, I did a 1 hole with Adam Scott at Bay Hill, and I was asking him about, what's the biggest change since you came out on tour? And he said, when I came out on tour, the driver was the hardest club to hit in the bag. He said, I remember a lot of little kind of muffin fades, and I remember a lot of snipe hooks when I first came out on tour, especially from the guys who hit it a long way. It was like, yeah, they can hit it really far, but do they hit 1 or 2 snap hooks around? It's changed a lot. Technology has increased and gotten so much better, and guys know what formulas produce speed. So you see, Viktor and JJ Spaun and Sam Burns are all kind of set up down the left side, body lines left, swing hard, swing left. Path is always negative, and they're always hitting cuts. These guys very rarely see the ball right to left, certainly not on purpose with driver. But Adam Scott's a little bit throwback in that way, and he says, I'm pretty zeroed out. Like and we saw his tee shot on 18 was straighter than train smoke. Got it right that time on the watch along. I said straighter than chain smoke. But yeah, he's playing against a bunch of guys who play a distinctly modern style, who sort of set up left and then hit cuts all day. Carlos Ortiz, we got his scorecard here. Well, there's a few things in front of it. Let's see if I can move it around. Nope, screwed that one up. It's a good scorecard. I'm going to get that off the screen because it doesn't really tell you that much. But Carlos Ortiz, the round of the day, tied for the round of the day with Adam Scott. And Carlos Ortiz has had a very interesting tournament. So in his second round, he started off, he shot 1 over the first round, so solid. Then he starts his round on the first hole, and he starts par, bogey, triple bogey, bogey. So at that point, he's 2-5. He's 6 over par with a lot to go. And Data Golf would have thought for sure that he was going to miss the cut. It went the other way. And this keeps with our theme of getting through the first sort of 5 or 6 holes at Oakmont. And then the opportunities present themselves. He was bogey free after that, shot 3 under over his last 13 holes yesterday, and then shoots 3 under again today. And that is despite a bogey at the last for Carlos Ortiz. So Carlos Ortiz was one of these guys who had won on the PGA Tour when he went over to LIV, and you probably haven't heard much from him since. He has won once on the LIV Tour, and he's played well this year so far already. He's got a win in Asia on the International Series Macau. And then he finished 4th, LIV Miami, tied for 7th, LIV Korea, tied for 10th, Virginia. Data Golf has him as the number 43 player in the world golf ranking. He's number 246. So hopefully you can see. Sorry, Alex is asking me what's wrong. Hopefully you can see why I use Data Golf, because I just feel like it's completely the world rankings are just complete. They don't tell you anything. Right? If I listened to the world rankings, I would think that Carlos Ortiz was the number 246 player in the world. Obviously, that's not true. One shot further behind Carlos Ortiz, we have Tyrrell Hatton, who's at 1 over. I'm going through his press conference here. They asked him, do you think it's fair? Do you enjoy this? Because remember, this is the guy who had the gumption to say that Augusta National is not fair, who said that he feels like a lot of shots at Augusta just are not properly rewarded. He's not a fan of Augusta National, which is I respect the balls. You don't hear people say that very often. But so they asked Tyrrell Hatton after the round if he thinks it's fair. Do you enjoy this? He said, for the most part, yeah, I'd say it is. I personally don't agree. I don't see the need to have so much rough in the side slopes of the bunkers. Here we go. I want some course takes. This is what we're talking about with the Gil Hanse stuff. The bunkers, the faces on them are so severe. If you go in them off the tee, you're not really reaching the green for the most part. Certainly around the green, if you go in the bunker and you're short-sided anyway. They've done a hell of a job raking them this week because they're so flat, Hansed, and almost certainly you feel like you're on a bit of a downslope, so they're still hard to play out of. You're really struggling to hit a bunker shot close anyway. So if the ball trickled back in the bunker, I would say that's probably a bit more fair than I've had 2 experiences this week of staying in the face. That is a Gil Hanse loves. It's a very nice aesthetic where they have all the rough in the face of the bunker. And, maybe you're on team bunkers should be hazards and stop crying. But it is definitely a calling card of his courses. That's those sort of eyebrows on the bunkers in there. But that's how they set it up this year. This is Tyrrell Hatton talking again. And it doesn't matter if I don't agree with it or every player in the field doesn't agree with it. Everyone has to deal with it. It just is how it is. Yeah. You're going to have some issues with a course that is kicking you in the teeth repeatedly, but I think that's the mindset that you have to have going into the final round of a U.S. Open. Speaking of going into the final round of a U.S. Open, Rory McIlroy. So Rory is at, where is Rory? Let's see where Rory finished. I want to say he's 10 over, something like that. Rory is 10 over, 74, 72, 74. And a lot of talk about Rory coming into this week, the driver situation. I feel like it's been made into a much bigger deal. I mean, I got sort of hammered when I tweeted right away that this is just not a big deal. Like, it happens every week. Guys get their drivers dinged every single week. Also, guys, get in the chat. I'm looking at the chat. If you guys want to have any questions or want to talk about anything, you guys let me know. But it happens every week. It happened to Scotty Scheffler in the same week, and he won the tournament. And, if you just get up there and you're like, yeah, it happens every week, I think it wouldn't have been an issue. But it obviously really pissed off Rory, that getting out there. So here's Rory McIlroy. Did speak to media today, and this definitely won't make the story go away. I'll put it that way.
So transparent with us and very available. Yesterday was 6 majors in a row, rounds kind of stepped away. Has that been part and parcel?
So that's Mark Cannizzaro asking the question from the New York Post. Very good old school journalist. 6 major rounds in a row, deciding not to speak to media is, if he did it once or twice, 6 in a row. It was 6 in a row.
Frustration on the golf course. What do you attribute?
No, not really. It's more a frustration with you guys. But yeah.
It's more a frustration with you guys. But I mean, that is Caddy with a capital C. He's upset. He's clearly very upset. And credit to Mark, he asked, what do you mean by that?
I'm just, Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've been totally available for the last few years, and I'm not saying maybe not you guys, but maybe more just the whole thing.
The whole thing. So when he says the whole thing, is he talking about the whole live situation when he was kind of the spokesman of the PGA Tour? Is he talking about the driver? He just seems to be upset with the portrayal that he's getting, which I think is interesting because I think by and large people really like Rory. I don't think this is a Bryson situation where, he stopped talking to the media right before he went to live, 2020, 2021, around that period, because he felt like every time he talked to the media, it just backfired and it went against him. And I just don't feel like that's the case with Rory. I feel like he's almost creating this narrative by digging deeper and deeper into this sort of adversarial nature that he has with the media. But I'm just going to go back on this clip here. I mean, they're asking him, has this been part of the frustration on the golf course? And just look at his response again.
Personal to the frustration on the golf course? What do you attribute?
No, not really. It's more a frustration with you guys. But yeah.
More frustration with you guys. It's hard to wrap your head around. Feels like something's off. Let's keep it going. I'll skip ahead a little bit.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
The whole.
Driver thing?
Yeah, part of. Yeah, I mean that was a part of it. Yeah, that was a part of it. But it's not as if like at Augusta I skipped you guys on Thursday. So yeah, it's not as if it's not out of the ordinary. I've done it before. I'm just doing it a little more often.
Is it part of the, you kind of carried the tour with your awards for like 3 or 4 years now. Do you feel like you've earned a break?
I feel like I've earned the right to do whatever I want to do, yeah.
No audio. I gotta stop turning my audio off. He said, I've earned the right to do what I want to do. I don't think anyone would have an issue with that over a glass of wine in a private setting. I think everyone agrees with that. It just doesn't seem like something that you say. It just doesn't seem like something that you say. And, every player is different, but, Scotty is at the height of his game and is not playing super well this week. And he's found a way to put on a smile for the media for the first 3 days. So I don't know. There's just something off. I don't really get it. Let's keep it going.
You have, in relation to that, kind of almost addressed the fact that the tour does not require that kind of thing. It's almost like you're daring them to do so in some way. Is that?
This was a thought I had. Is this actually, Galaxy Brain Rory's actually forcing the hand of the PGA Tour to make it mandatory to talk? But I don't think that's the case.
In terms of a requirement for other players.
No, I'm not daring them to do anything. I hope they don't change it because it would, it's a nice luxury to have. But I'm just pointing out the fact that we have the ability to do it.
But no one else is pointing out the fact that they have the ability to do it. I think we know you have the ability to do it. Let's keep it going.
What do you look for tomorrow?
Hopefully a round in under 4.5 hours and get out of here.
What are you looking forward to tomorrow? What are you looking for tomorrow? To play a round in under 4.5 hours and get out of here. It's the United States Open at Oakmont. If you had asked Tiger at 10 over par in the height of his career, way out of the tournament, what are you looking forward to tomorrow? So, hopefully get off to a hot start and post a number and we'll see what happens. It's just so easy to say that, right? And I've been in these press conferences. When it gets tense like that, sometimes you ask kind of an easier question at the end, to soften the mood, and for him to say basically, I'm just here so I don't get fined, and not saying I'm just here so I don't get fined about the interview after the round, but he's basically saying that about the round of golf. Like, does it sound like he's going to grind it out tomorrow? He's not. I don't know. There's just something off. And they asked Scotty about this after the round. and I wanted to bring this in. Here's Scotty talking about Rory.
I mean, there's definitely an aspect of having an achievement that you thought about for a long time and then being able to achieve that goal. There's typically, I mean, winning a major championship in general just takes a lot out of you. I think physically and mentally, it's a pretty taxing thing to do. I mean, it's really hard to describe to somebody that hasn't really lived through it, just because of, I mean, when I woke up after the PGA Championship this year, I literally felt like I got hit by a bus. Like, I felt terrible. And it's just part of the adrenaline.
There was no sound there again. What I was saying was totally understandable. Totally understandable. That's why they don't do press conferences the morning after you win a major.
Part of competing for 4 days on a really difficult golf course, keeping your head in it for 72 holes, which is a long time, and mentally it's just exhausting, and physically it's a grind too. And so if that's how I felt after the PGA, I can only imagine how, Rory felt after winning the career Grand Slam. And it's not easy.
Scotty won his next start after winning the PGA. Or no, he didn't. Sorry. He played the next week in Texas and finished in the top 10. Still talked to media, I believe. And then won at the Memorial. I don't think anyone was asking Rory to come back and do a press conference the day after he won the Masters. But, we all thought that this would be so freeing for him. It would be, this cathartic experience where, everything is gravy and you sort of, everything that happens for the rest of your career is just gravy, and he's going to be freed up to chase majors. And could it really just be the driver situation? Is that because, like, what's really changed with Rory, since the Masters? Like, what's changed, And I just don't feel like, I feel like something's up here. I feel like there's something that we're not hearing. And I don't, that's not based on any sort of inside information that I have, but it just feels like there's something else going on, because everything that Scotty's saying makes total sense. It's really hard to win a major, and you have this thing that you've been trying to achieve for a really long time, but that was 2 months ago. Let's keep it going.
To show up out here every week and play well. This is a very difficult sport. It's we play very difficult golf courses like this one, and we're all out here just trying to do our best, and it's a hard game, and sometimes it can look easy and sometimes it can feel really difficult, but at the end of the day, we're just showing up, trying to do our best, and then we go home. I mean, there's definitely an aspect of,
yeah, I'm actually like, I'm kind of getting upset talking about it, just because it feels so it feels so self-imposed. I don't think the media had it out to get Rory. I mean, he's obviously very, very upset about the driver thing. And someone in the chat was saying that he was upset that that it got out, that his one failed and that Scotty's didn't. PS36 is saying McIlroy has no filter. Again, this is part of the reason why he is such a unique figure in the game, is because he has no filter. He tells you exactly how he's feeling. He was the only golfer who said the things about legacy, and not the only one, but he was the face of it, of being just super candid, after super candid with the live stuff. So it's just, maybe that's, it's part of the reason why everyone loves him so much, is because he is so honest and different, in the sense of
round one,
just how, we're going to show you that in just a second, but just how forthright he is. But it's just a strange one, and people are having their own theories in the chat, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate as far as what's going on in Rory McIlroy's life. I don't know. But I find it hard to believe that this is just because of the driver situation. But again, I don't know. All right, let's watch this clip that Alex Bush let me just resize this for you guys really quickly so you can see it. And then we're going to show you just how dialed Neil Shipley has been this week. So this was us talking on Wednesday. Neil Shipley is a member at Oakmont. He said he's got 6 memberships, which is pretty amazing. Clearly a guy who cares about memberships and stuff. A lot of times golfers are just kind of golf course hotel, and they're not, they're out there for a job. Clearly, Neil Shipley loves the hang, loves the golf. So we were talking on Wednesday. He's an Oakmont member from Pittsburgh. I believe he caddied at Oakmont for at least some period, and here he was being Nostradamus about this week.
Somebody's going to come out round 1 and shoot 66.
Look at that edit.
Somebody's going to shoot 4 or 5, but they're going to back it up with like a 72, 73.
So spot on. The JJ Spaun whisperer, also known as Neil Shipley.
Whoever's hitting the driver the best is
So what's going to happen after today? Leader's going to be -4, 6 guys under par after today. So he was a little bit off.
got a really dang good chance.
He was a little bit off, but he was not very far off. Neil Shipley. We got to ask him. We got to find out, what his prediction is for the rest of the week, because he has been absolutely spot on. Yeah, excited for tomorrow. Wish it was going to be a little bit springier than it has been, but we're all sickos here, and we're sickos for a sport that is played outside, where weather is sort of something that you can't exactly predict. But should be an epic final round. I'm going to go through the leaderboard a little bit here more. Rasmus Bjerregaard Peterson, we touched on him briefly, having a great week. I think the sort of gap between the highest levels of professional golfers and everybody else might be widening. I feel like in past U.S. Opens, you'd see like a qualifier or a guy who's just totally out of left field having the week of his life. The first guy on this leaderboard, I'm scrolling down, who's not fully exempt on the PGA Tour or Live Golf, Trevor Cohn, I think, still has a tour card. He's T29. I'm keeping scrolling. We're up. It's tie 45. Justin Hastings. Justin Hastings is an amateur from the Cayman Islands. He was the only amateur to make the cut this week. So he will win the medal for low amateur, but and then there's one Philip Barbary who made the cut. Oh, let's bring in the Philip Barbary bit. We have a little something about Philip Barbary. I think we do. Where is the... No, do we not? Anyways. Oh, yeah, we do. Right here. So Philip Barbary went to college with Sam Burns at LSU. And Sam Burns was a 36-hole leader. He was in bed enjoying his spot in life this morning, whereas Philip Barbary had to come back to the golf course this morning to finish up to see if he could make the cut. Best bit from Sam's. This is Alex Bush talking. Was him talking about working together with his coach and stuff since he was like 15 and feeling comfortable. Yeah, we're gonna bring that into the show. But he's an LSU guy with Sam Burns, and these guys go way back. And it's interesting. These guys are on the same team in college, and then one of them goes on to be a world beater, and the other one is grinding and just trying to make the cut. But Philip Barbary had to come back this morning, made a putt. And Brentley Romine had it on here saying, Burns said he was watching Barbary on TV this morning and admitted getting a little teary-eyed. So cuts matter. Cuts have always mattered. Cuts continue to matter. I just, the more time goes on and the more I see these limited field events, the more I just think they're a bit of a miss for me. Just seeing what making a cut means to these people. And again, making a cut on a random PGA Tour event for most players is not going to come with the severity of or the sort of the importance of making a cut in a major championship. But for someone, it probably will. It's like a mini tournament within the tournament. I can't see the benefit of these small field events. Maybe from a sponsor's perspective, but Joseph Boza says, "LOL, Scotty lost it yesterday with Team Scotty. He was yelling at Randy Smith. He is frustrated as well as his whole team that Scotty can't be a bully this week." Scotty said in his he did an interview with NBC where he said that's just another Friday on the range. I think people have this image of Scotty as being boring. I think he's one of the most competitive people on the planet. And I've heard that from people who are close to Scotty now and people who have been closer to Scotty, when he was a kid in college at the University of Texas. I went down there for the college series that we've done, which you guys should all check out. And I asked them, first thing I asked was, did you see this coming from Scotty, this run? And they all said, nope, not like this. And then I said, what was he like in college? And they said he was a super hothead. You could hear him from from a couple of fairways over, just yelling all the time. How? That seems to be his go-to when things aren't going his way. Let's go through the board a little bit more. A couple guys that I think we all thought, especially after round one, would be up there who aren't. Brooks Koepka, he started with a 68, 74 on Friday, 73 on Saturday. He's in a tie for 21st. Just sort of bleeding strokes. Seems to be a little bit too far back. Jordan Spieth is 6 over. He started with a 70, bounced back with 75, 71, so hasn't played as well since that opening round, in a tie for 29th. Jason Day shot 67 on Friday, 72 today. Thomas Dietrich was up there with after 69, 73. He shot 73 today. A lot of 72, 73s today. That's sort of the story of the U.S. Open. Jon Rahm, a disappointing week. Started with a 1 under 69. I said after Friday that if I had to redraft who I thought my pick going in was Scottie Scheffler. I don't feel that bad about picking Scottie Scheffler to win. That was sort of a no-brainer in my mind. I picked him to win the PGA, and he won. But I said on Thursday night, that if I could repick, I would pick Jon Rahm. He shot 75, 73 on Friday and Saturday, so he's at 7 over. Colin Morikawa was making a bit of a run today. He started the day at 4 over, birdied 2 of his first 3, which we've talked about how Oakmont starts with a punch in the mouth. He must have been thinking, I'm going to get myself back into this tournament, but played the rest of the round in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over par to shoot 74. He's at 8 over par, well back. Rory McIlroy's at 10 over. So is Tony Finau at 10 over. Daniel Berger at 10 over. Denny McCarthy at 10 over. Keegan Bradley. I saw a little talk about Keegan Bradley in this chat. Keegan is in a tie for 21st at 5 over. And he's got an interesting situation on his hand. Tomorrow's a big round. Tomorrow's a big round for Keegan Bradley, because he told me, and he's told other people, but he's told me, and I can only speak for what I've been told, that it was after the U.S. Open that he was going to really start to figure out, okay, who's going to be on my team? Like, what is this actually going to look like? And because, Keegan's in a unique scenario. He's the best playing Ryder Cup captain, or at least the youngest that we've seen in a really long time. And that win last year guaranteed that he was going to be playing in all of these events. Remember, they gave him the captaincy. They gave him this captaincy before he won BMW. So he wasn't necessarily guaranteed to get to the Tour Championship and be in all these events and be playing the schedule that he is, but he is playing the schedule that he is. And so he, it's too much for him to be thinking about this all the time. So he said he was going to give himself really until after the U.S. Open to decide, okay, what is this actually going to look like? Really start to lock in. They'll be through 3, only one major left, and get into really the fat part of the season here, or the end of the season, I should say. And I'm a little bit sad. I do feel like we're getting to the end of the season here. But in his last 4 starts, he's gone T18 at the RBC Heritage, T30 at the Truist, T8 at the PGA Championship, and T7 at the Memorial. And I think, one of the reasons why they wanted Keegan to be the captain was that fire, and that's one of the reasons why they would want him to be on the team. I had Billy Horschel on the show on Monday, and he was talking about how he feels like he should be on the team. He was saying that he feels like he's earned it, like he's playing well enough, and if he's
No, it's fine. I mean, this is the first time for me
we got a
to
clip
be
here.
in
If he's sort of
in a major,
contention,
I think, yeah.
if he's in that spot, he thinks that he deserves it. So we'll see. I mean, tomorrow's a huge round. If Keegan shoots a couple under and finishes another top 10 in the major, and he's already, I think, the number 9 ranked American in both data golf rankings and the official world golf ranking. He's way down there in points, but he's up there in the world ranking and in data golf. Like, he could have a situation on his hand. And you heard Brad Faxon saying all week that he was saying on the broadcast that he thinks that he should be on this team. And he was, Kisner. I don't know if Kisner is officially a playing captain or a assistant captain. I don't know the full list, but certainly seems like he wants him to be on the team. And I think another really strong week, and it's going to be something that maybe he can't ignore. So we just got a presser clip in. Alex Bush has Alex Bush has alerted me that we got a JJ Spaun presser clip in, so let's play it.
No, it's fun. I mean, this is the first time for me to be in contention on.
So this is JJ Spaun talking about, I think, about how much his career has changed in the last couple of years.
Fun. I mean, this is the first time for me to be in contention in a major, I think, yeah. I mean, the Players is an unofficial major, I guess, but yeah, it's
unofficial. Let's make that clear. It's unofficial. I don't even say it's unofficial major. It's not a major. It's the Players. It's its own thing. It's got its own play in the game, but it's not a major. And Joseph Boza says that Kisner is an assistant captain, so that's why they were talking about it on the broadcast. Let's keep this going.
fun. I mean, it's kind of everything that you prepare and hope to have the opportunity to have at these big events, let alone just getting into them are so hard. And, you know, that was me a year ago a year and prior, like I couldn't even get into these tournaments. So to see myself here qualifying off world ranking just based off how I've been playing all year was a nice treat, but then to, you know, kind of back up how I've been doing all year and be in contention is fun. No, it's fun. I mean, this is the first time.
Screwed up the audio again. It's got to be fun. It's got to be fun. He's in the Ben Griffin camp, right? He's in the camp of, you know, I wasn't even supposed to be playing in these things, and I've you know, my career has taken on a totally new life, you know, in my 30s, and Griffin's a little bit younger, but Spaun even more so, you know, kind of similar to Ryan Fox, right? Kind of similar to Ryan Fox, where, you know, everyone sort of matures at a different age in this game, and JJ Spawn's had his in the last year, and it's been fun to watch. And we've got a Sam Burns clip too. Alex Bush just keeps delivering here. Let's hear from Sam Burns.
Yeah, I think you know, my dad has always said you got to dance with who brought you. I think you know, my dad has always said you got to dance with who brought you.
Love that. If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. That was a song I listened to, a couple heartbreaks. You're getting into teenage Danny here. That's totally unrelated. Let's keep going back with the clip.
And you know, for me, you know, my coach and I have been working together since I was 15 or 16. And you know, to me, it seems way more complicated to go seek advice from someone else who doesn't know me or know my golf swing. And I fully trust him and you know, what he thinks and what he says. And you know, our relationship is much more than just a swing coach. So I think for me, you know, golf is complicated enough. It's difficult enough. You know, for me, I've always thought just trying to keep it simple and figure out what works for me.
A shot at Viktor Hovland? No, I'm just kidding. Obviously not a shot at Viktor Hovland, but it is a fascinating, you know, clash here. You've got Sam Burns, and who's in this sort of Scotty Scheffler mold of, you know, I'm a Southern guy. I don't make things too complicated. I've worked with the same guy for 15 years or whatever it's been, 20, you know. And then you got Viktor Hovland, who's probably had 6 coaches already this year. So, yeah, just a rich cast of characters up there. And again, I think it's exciting that we're going to get kind of an unexpected major winner tomorrow. You know, we all came into the PGA feeling like there was a clear Class A, and it was Scotty, and it was Rory, and it was Bryson, and maybe Xander, and maybe JT. About that, I'm sure we'll talk more about that on Monday's show. But you know, the last 6 major winners have been Rory, Xander, Bryson, Xander. Sorry, it's Rory, Xander, Bryson, Xander. No, I'm gonna get it this time. Scotty, Xander, Bryson, Xander, Scotty, Rory. See, I got it when I was slow. Alex Bush is always telling me to slow down. I wonder why. Got it when I was slow, but you know, and I think going into Quail Hollow, there was such a clear Class A of guys who. Alex Bush says, if I see you muted again, I'm going to live. Okay, understood. But there was a clear Class A of guys who you felt like were capable of winning the tournament, and it played out that way. Scotty won. And Rom, you know, another guy who's a big time blue chipper was right there on Sunday. This list that I'm looking at here, I keep getting messed up with this. This list that I'm looking at here, that way. The winner of the U.S. Open is coming from this list, and it's not someone that you thought at the beginning of the week was going to win the U.S. Open. So an awesome day ahead of us. This is my favorite golf tournament. I've said that all week. I'm going to continue to say it. There's just something about the United States Open. It's a battle of attrition, is what Alan Shipnuck calls it. It's supposed to be hard. It's not artful. I see a couple takes online saying, "Oh, well, the rough. It's not fun seeing the best players in the world hack it up out of rough." It wouldn't be fun if that was every single week. But this is the United States Open. This is the United States Open. It's supposed to be a kick in the teeth. It is supposed to be you're thinking in your head, but maybe not saying it like Rory McIlroy, that you just want to get out of there in 4.5 hours and go home because your ego is bruised. That's what it's supposed to be. And, the weather hasn't really been on our side this week. The wettest spring in the history of Pittsburgh. I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to say it because it sounds good. A lot of rain early in the week, Sunday, Monday. Rain overnight on Friday night into Saturday morning. We saw rain during the round today. Might be some rain tomorrow. So it'll be a different Oakmont. Balls will be sitting on the greens, spinning back the same way that they were today. But I think it will still play plenty difficult. We'll see what the winning score is. I think our dream, our widely held dream of an over par winning score is we're going to have to wait another year. That'll be 7 straight years. The last U.S. Open that had an over par winning score was at Shinnecock. Where's the U.S. Open next year? It's at Shinnecock. They are lucky that they haven't had any major delays, says Joseph Boza. Yeah, it's gone. Despite all that rain, they've managed to not have any play stoppages that I know of, except for yesterday. They had one last night, and those guys had to come back in the morning. But other than that, it's been pretty damn smooth. So, yeah, gonna wrap it up here. If there's anything else you guys want to hear about, now is sort of your last chance. Alex is always hammering on me to end this with an end screen because apparently I'm on a delay, and if I hit stop on my screen, it's going to delay you guys. So I'm going to throw up an end screen here. Actually, let's do one more pass through the leaderboard, see if anyone catches our eye. Cameron Young +3. Okay. Cameron Young I saw miss a lot of putts early in the round, but this is a guy who also had a chance to win the Canadian Open last week. Made a bogey when he needed a birdie on the final hole. Had to get through golf's longest day. Got through the Cleveland or the Columbus site, I should say. Won a playoff over Max Homa and Ricky Fowler and Eric Cole, and just been sort of middling this year. He's sort of public enemy number one in the golf gambling community because he has all the tools and has finished. He finished second in the Open Championship in 2022 at St. Andrews, the Old Course. Mark Leishman, he's got a win on Live Golf so far this year. Also had to get through sectional qualifier. I think he got through the Maryland site. 6-time winner on the PGA Tour. Shot a lovely 68 today. He's in a tie for 11. So is Chris Gotterup. Give him a quick shout out. Already a winner on the PGA Tour. I think he was the last best senior who didn't get to go straight to the PGA Tour from PGA Tour U. Played the first 3 years of his college career at Rutgers. He's a Jersey kid. Transferred to Oklahoma. He was the number one player when he was at Oklahoma. Went to the Korn Ferry Tour, got through, won in Myrtle Beach last year. Had to get through a qualifier in his home state in New Jersey, which he successfully got through. Having a great U.S. Open. Wow, he's got 2 under par rounds. 76, 69, 69 from Chris Gotterup. Christian Bezadenhout is at 4 over with Max Grazerman, one of the few, the proud Jewish guys on the PGA Tour. Actually joined as an honorary member, Quaker Ridge, where I was a member in New York. Russell Henley is 4 over. Missed the cut in the first 2 majors of the season. Was a little bit worried about his Ryder Cup prospects, I think, because he fired Mark Blackburn. And we had Mark Blackburn on the show a couple weeks ago, and he said that the reason was, I just really want to make the Ryder Cup, and maybe I know that I want to make these changes that you're telling me, and I know that they're right, but he had missed the first 2 cuts in majors, and despite having the biggest win of his career earlier this year in Bay Hill, he was just not trying to change stuff in a Ryder Cup year. They call it Ryder Cup-itis or whatever it is. So he is successfully playing the weekend, and he's at 4 over with Emiliano Grillo, who's got 7 rounds of 71, 72, 71. Ryan Gerard, who had a very solid, I want to say top 10 finish at the PGA Championship. He's in a tie for 21st alongside Matt Wallace, Sam Stevens, Keegan Bradley, Chris Kirk, Jason Day, Thomas Dietrich, and Brooks Koepka. Any really high rounds today? Couple 80s. Matthew Pavone, who was a shock to see him up there early on Thursday. Just a reminder of how long 72 holes is. Pavone was up there with the early leaders. So is Rory McIlroy, by the way. So is Bryson DeChambeau. Speaking of Bryson DeChambeau, I got one more clip for you guys. I almost forgot about this one. Johnny Miller's been around this week. Johnny Miller's one of those names who's very synonymous with Oakmont. He shot that 63 in 1973. Widely considered to be, if not the best, one of the best majors, one of the best major rounds in history. Here's what he had to say about the test this week, and a little bit of a dig at Bryson. This makes me miss Johnny in the booth.
All about hitting that ball in the fairway. You see the guys that don't, like Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, he was living in the rough there this last couple of days, and of course he gets to watch it on TV today. But yeah, you got it.
I like that he looks over to Jack like, "Hey, you catch that one-liner?" And Jack's not laughing yet, but he will be.
Hit in the fairway.
There it is.
And then got to be able to handle the U.S. Open pressure.
Pressure. Hearing Johnny Miller say pressure, man, I miss it so much. You can tell Johnny's obviously slowed down a little bit, which is to be expected. He's getting how old's Johnny Miller? Johnny Miller is 78, so he's clearly slowed down a little bit, but still has that fire. And I miss him in the booth, especially on U.S. Opens. You hear some guys say that's a poor shot. It in the broadcast, it just hits a little bit different when it comes from the great Johnny Miller. Okay, fantastic live. Tomorrow I'm going to come on for the whole back nine. We are going to watch the United States Open, my favorite major championship. We're going to watch it to its completion right here on the Dan on Golf channel. After that live finishes, we won't do a recap show. We're going to save that for Monday. We're going to do our full U.S. Open recap show on Monday live, Dan on Golf in the studio. But for now, I'll talk to all of you tomorrow. Get a rest. We got a big day of watching golf tomorrow. I love all you sickos. Watch all of our videos. Subscribe to the channel. Drop us a like. Tell your friends. All that good stuff. We'll see you guys soon.